And welcome to Philadelphia along with Joe Valerio. Joe Torti here with you. So glad that you could come aboard here with us. And Joe, take a look at the matchup between these two teams. Brand new territory for both.
Yeah, first-time foes, Joe, under the lights. Just like you said, electrifying Julian Juice Stokes, doing it all, leading NCAA FCS in all-purpose yards against a takeaway machine in Marist. So going to be a battle of one offense against one defense. Speaking
of defense, Nate Furrow was absolutely on fire in the big win against San Diego. He closed the game in a big way.
Yeah, we're going to take a look at some of these sacks that he had to end the game right there, Joe. And I mean, the kid is just, he knows how to find that open space and get to the quarterback.
Sacks in the game, including these two, the last two plays of the game, taken down receiving votes, San Diego. Speaking of receiving votes, the Big Green got their season off on the wrong foot thanks to Penn quarterback Liam O'Brien.
Liam O'Brien looking like Josh Allen out there. He's throwing the ball, he's running the ball, he's finding open guys. Look at this back shoulder throw right here for a touchdown. Really finding his way out there this season.
O'Brien going quarterback there as Olsen transitions to tight end. And O'Brien really did take over after Penn fell down 14-3. He set the tone.
Yeah, he really did, Joe. And it was a combination of designed runs for him and also runs that he was able to find open space when he needed to.
Take a look at the work that he's put together this season in his first year as the starting quarterback of the Penn Quakers. Liam O'Brien, a true dual threat at quarterback for Penn. For more on tonight's matchup, we head down to the sidelines. Corey Nido is standing by.
Thanks, Joe. Well, this high-scoring Penn offense has relied on senior wide receiver Jared Richardson. Richardson had a strong start to the season, posting back-to-back 100-yard games before being held in check here at home this past week against Dartmouth in that electric win. Despite that quiet performance, he leads the Ivy League in receiving yards, and he is also tied for the league lead in receptions, and he has been a phenomenal target for Liam O'Brien. Tonight, he can move up on the all-time career receiving yards list. He's just 10 yards shy of moving 6 all-time in program history. Someone who will try to ensure doesn't get behind this Marist defense is safety Nate Robinson Jr., a talented sophomore who has 9 pass breakups, leads the team with 3 interceptions. Joe, back to you.
Corey, thank you very much. Penn winning the toss, opting to defer, telling Alexander Randolph that they'll send the defense out on the field first. And we'll get a look at this Marist offense. A question now facing the Red Foxes, Joe. Who's going to play quarterback here on this first drive?
Yeah, we're gonna find out here real soon, Joe, to see who lines up. And with Sonny Menino out, we got Will Odell.
Odell, a freshman from Birmingham, Alabama. Both of these quarterbacks, Patrick Grusser and Will Odell, in backing up, have been good runners. Now Odell flushed out, flips it up the field, and overthrows his intended target. Incomplete, looking for Irene Iza.
Yeah, tough when you're going back to your, when you're right-handed and you're going back to your left like that to square up and get a ball accurately thrown. Did a good job of getting out of the pocket. Joe, this Marist team absolutely needs to protect the quarterback tonight. They've been up a lot of sacks, probably averaging anywhere from 3.5 to 4 sacks a game being led up by them.
As an offensive lineman, what challenges does protecting a young quarterback present?
You just don't know where he's going to be. You want to know exactly where your quarterback is, and a young quarterback's going to be all over the pocket.
On 2nd down and 10, he flips it ahead. Juggling catch is made, but Connor Holstein paid the price for it. Absolutely leveled. Did well just to hold on and pick up 5 yards, and a Penn player is down at the end of this.
Yeah, Connor Holstein came to his graduate year here at Marist from Princeton, so knows this offense probably pretty well from of Marist, Mike Willis, who has a big, long pedigree at Princeton as their offensive coordinator and as a player.
Ty Cortez is a player who is down, and he had an absolutely mad game for Penn in the big win over Dartmouth. Down 3 facing Marist, but all eyes now on the Penn safety, Ty Cortez. Sophomore's able to rise to his feet and kind of skip off, jog off under his own power. Good to see. And as you mentioned, Mike Willis in his 2nd year leading Marist has done a great job of setting the tone. They've been a team that's been very aggressive. Make no mistake, if Marist history is any indication this season, this is 4-down territory already.
It is, Joe. They have 22 fourth-down attempts this year, and they've made 12 of them.
Very aggressive team there. 3rd down and 3. Odell pressured, flips it up the sideline, and a catch is made on the sideline. Unbelievable concentration play made by Reed Schumpert. Washington State transfer, Cal Poly product as well, makes the tiptoe catch on the sideline.
Yeah, watch this. He drops a dime in there under some pressure there. He probably saw a lot of blue jerseys coming around. Drops a dime right there down the sideline. That's a tough pass to defend because you just never know where the ball is when you're trying to track somebody down like that in man coverage.
So a fresh set of downs. 1st down and 10 in Penn territory at the 45-yard line after the conversion on 3rd down. Odell back to the air, complete into the flat blockers in front, but not a whole lot of room to work with for Jeremy DeCaro, Pioneer League Special Teams Player of the Week.
Quick little high percentage bubble screen out there, Joe, or more like a tunnel screen coming in under that with the line coming out to get the guys on the perimeter. With the running back or wide receiver coming to the inside. It's definitely something that's transpired over the last 4 to 5 years, seeing more and more of those tunnel screens as opposed to the classic, guy bubbling out and then 3 linemen out there leading for him.
Brings up a 2nd down and 8 for Will Odell, the freshman quarterback, starting in place of Sonny Menino. Rolling, flipping, completing to Jack Mallory. And Mallory moves the chains as well for a 1st down. So this Marist offense looking good on their drive.
Yeah, they're doing a great job of moving Will Odell out of the pocket a little bit, getting him some ground because, they know they've had protection problems. If he can move the pocket, change his launch points, that'll keep him from feeling too much pressure and see if they can stretch that defense. Coach Prairie has told us in our chats with him this week, a lot of times Bob Benson throws out those sort of bend, don't break type philosophies, and I think we're seeing a little bit of that right now, testing out this Marist offense.
Both of these teams with signature wins. Marist beating the Pioneer League favorite San Diego last week. Penn getting by Dartmouth. Handoff to Tristan Shannon, who plunges ahead for a nice pickup on 1st. Shannon has eclipsed 1,000 all-purpose yards each of the last 2 years and was the leading rusher last season.
We know, Joe, this is a Marist team that can score some points. Put up a lot of points against Princeton, they beat San Diego, who put up a lot of points against Princeton.
Right.
So, I know that this team can hang with some of the bigger teams in the FCS. So, be interesting to see how they manage this Ivy League matchup tonight, where they are actually 0-7 against Ivy League teams in their history.
Most commonly playing Columbia. Flush to the right, Odell make plays with his feet, lowers his shoulder, and plunges ahead a yard shy of the 1st down. But you can see Will Odell had a team-high 58 rushing yards against Wagner in his first career touchdown pass earlier this year.
You're seeing the pocket is actually breaking down, Joe. That was not great pass protection there, even though they gained a lot of yards. He was able to get outside of the contain. You have to be very disciplined in your pass in those lanes. With these quarterbacks who are super athletic these days, they're not just stats that stand back there and sling the ball anymore like the Dan Marinos and the John Elways of the world that I grew up watching. These kids know how to run. These quarterbacks know how to get out in space. Penn's got to keep contain on the quarterback on the perimeter.
Officials reset it to 1st down on the respot, so Odell with a fresh set of downs goes back to the air. DeCaro again. Flag flies in from the back judge. That's Matthew Rowe showing off his arm. For now, DeCaro has the catch. Offensive pass interference against Reed Schumpert, and that does so much damage, Joe, to an offense that was humming.
Yeah, especially, a young quarterback. He's got his momentum going. Now he's got to back up, he's got a ground to carry. Now, Joe, we know that this team, this Marist, they like to gun on 4th down. They have 4 touchdowns over 25 yards on 4th down attempts. So they will take shots on 4th down. And, for them right now, this is absolutely has to be for this team statistically 4-down territory.
First down and 25 now for Marist. Odell rolls, flips, complete, short completion, and good coverage that time by Cole Olston. Comes out and makes that stop after the short pickup. Not a whole lot for DeCaro there.
Yeah, they reacted really quickly to that quick pass. These high percentage passes, Joe, really are more like running plays than they are pass plays. Get the ball out quick, give the quarterback some confidence of getting the ball out of his hands, see if the wide receiver can make some yards after catch, make a few people miss, but Penn really collapsed on that nicely.
Brings up a second down and 22. Inside 10 minutes to play here on this opening drive of the game. Odell, here comes the blitz. Looks over the middle, complete Shumpert, reverse course before he's wrapped up and dropped by Jaden Drayton. We talked about Drayton's conversion to defensive back and certainly showing a willingness to hit there.
Yeah, number 7, Ryan O'Connell for Penn. Last week he was sort of the spy that really helped contain Grayson Saunier from Dartmouth. So what he saw there is he saw a drop back. He didn't see the quarterback ready to roll. So what he did is they call that a delayed dog, right? So all of a sudden he's going to see an opening after the pass protection sets up. And he's going to make an attempt to get in the quarterback's face, and that's what Ryan O'Connell did a lot last week against Grayson Saunier, and it worked. So I'm assuming Bob Benson's going to do it more this week.
3rd and 18. Here comes the pressure. Odell hit as he throws, got it away. Shumpert another catch before he's wrapped up and dropped from behind by Ryan O'Connell. Near the original line of scrimmage, it'll be 4th down and 11. And out comes the field goal unit.
Yeah, good decision on Coach Wolf's part here to get the 3. Young quarterback, points on the board, give him a little tiny bit of a cushion, get something going, rather than try to capture a 4th and 11 here.
43-yard field goal incoming here from Samuel Lius, freshman from Alpharetta, Georgia. So long for the season. Kick is up, and it had plenty of leg, and it's good. Marist has to settle for 3 on their opening drive, but Penn's defense able to get them out of the end zone. First look at the Quakers offense when we return. It's Friday Night Lights at Franklin Field.
You are so good.
Garrett Series history, you're looking at it. This is the history of the two programs. Penn and Marist meeting for the first time tonight. Joe Valerio, Corey Naito on the sidelines. Jordy with you. And, we talked about this being uncharted territory for both of these teams, right? Neither of the coaches gave us anything this week when we were asking about following up on a big win, Penn against Dartmouth and the San Diego win from Marist. Neither coach gave us really anything beyond focusing on 1 week at a time, new season. But I have to ask you as a former player, how hard is it to follow up on those big-time wins?
Joe, you don't ever want to think that you're going to have a letdown after a big game, but it's human nature, right? You put all your heart and soul into a game where, it's been a long time since Penn has beaten Dartmouth here at Franklin Field. Marist is a program that's on the rise with a second-year coach coming in from Princeton. I mean, two teams that have a lot of emotion on the field. It's hard to keep that up.
Kick goes out of bounds, so Penn's going to have good field position here. Yeah, talking to Ray Priori and Mike Willis earlier this week. Tell very, very well trained in how to deal with us pesky media folk.
Yeah, they don't want to give away too much, right? Because they never know what we're going to say up here. Joe, in this day of technology, I mean, there's so much film out there on teams. Everything is posted on different kinds of software programs and websites where you can go and watch film. It's not like the old days where we used to trade 16 millimeter reels. And nowadays you can watch a team play on streaming, like on ESPN Plus. You can watch anything.
So there's a look at Liam O'Brien in this Penn offense, and we talked about how strong O'Brien has been this season. Really brought the team back. You don't want to say single-handedly, but he set the tone against Dartmouth. This is how. With his legs getting to the outside, O'Brien with a pickup of 8 on first down.
And that was a nice three-way RPO there. He had the he had the quick out, and he had the run. I mean, you saw him actually go through progression on that play. Decided the give wasn't there to run it up the middle, and didn't have the quick out, and then just take it with his legs.
It's tough to cover, especially when you've got 2 of the best receivers in the Ivy League split out wide, BZ Owens and Jared Richardson. Alex Haight is the 3rd member of the troop, and he makes that catch before he's wrapped up and dropped by Nate Robinson Jr. Haight making the first catch.
Yeah, I like the way that he used Jared Richardson right there. He used him as a blocker without Jared Richardson actually being a blocker. He just used his body to go around and get that first down.
Fresh set of downs for Penn, first down. Play action. O'Brien deep over the middle, through the hands of Haight. Incomplete. Once again, it was Robinson on the coverage.
Yeah, a little cover 2 back there, Joe, just trying to split that zone, go right down the middle. I think quarterback like Liam O'Brien, as he starts to get his sea legs, he can see those zones pretty quick and knows where to hit the receiver and when to hit them, and they split that zone really nicely there.
It's kind of been a Friday nightmare for Penn. They've dropped 6 straight home night games dating back to 2017. Looking to change that here tonight. O'Brien does hand off to Julian Stokes, and Stokes backpedals his way near the first down. Still some work to do for Julian Stokes, who leads all of college football with 195 all-purpose yards per game.
Yeah, I mean, he is a triple threat on the field as a running back, kickoff returns, punt returns. I mean,
was a receiver last year.
Yeah, just chewing up yards this year.
3rd down 4 as Stokes motions into the backfield alongside O'Brien. Seen a lot of 3 down linemen from Marist this season as O'Brien rolls out, flips it, complete, first down yardage and more to Davis Ellis, the senior. Sure hand, reliable, moves the sticks.
What pressure Liam O'Brien put on that defense right there, because you didn't know what he was going to do. And if he was going to get it with legs or he was going to throw that ball, and it really put a lot of pressure on that coverage.
Speaking of pressure, this diamond formation is set up here. And now take a look here. Even though it's covered, what do you notice about the box, Joe?
I'm trying to figure it out, Joe. You'll have to tell me.
Super light. There goes O'Brien. Flag is down. We'll see.
I got so caught up on the diamond there. My geometry was off.
We got diamonds and boxes and rhombuses.
I was like looking at the diamond. I'm like, box, Joe, it's a diamond. But yeah, you're right. They were really late. I don't think Marist really knew what to do there with that coverage there.
Take a look. So much room for O'Brien. But we'll see about this. Was the formation legal?
Well, it must have confused him enough.
Well, and especially, Joe, since we talked about Marist's propensity for 3-man fronts, that's a formation that Penn runs. They've got to figure out a plan for that.
Yeah, and if you do that and you leave 5 linemen against 3 defensive linemen, you spread out like that, your protection is going to be fantastic because you get 2 double teams.
For O'Brien, play action look, complete to Richardson. Richardson lowers his shoulder and surges ahead to the 21-yard line. For Richardson, a game not up to his standards statistically last week. You saw some frustration brewing later. Know that he's excited to put something more positive on tape this week.
Yeah, wide receivers can do so much more than just catch the ball, Joe. You have an incredible role to fill, blocking, kind of running your patterns, running your routes to keep the progressions tight. So, it's more than just catching the ball, and I think young receivers, any receiver learns to figure that out pretty quickly.
O'Brien rolls, looks, has Richardson one-on-one, and they make him pay. Touchdown, Quakers.
And that's how you actually make a really nice contribution, is by making an incredible route right there and having an incredible timing, having a great timing pattern with your quarterback.
21-yard toss, pretty good. And right where it needed to be, O'Brien, a beautiful delivery over the shoulder for Richardson.
Speed kills, and so does height, Joe.
Mason Walters, the freshman kicker, puts it up and through, and answers the Marist field goal drive with one all the way down the field. Started off with the kickoff out of bounds, and the Quakers march Jared Richardson back where he belongs, in the end zone. Inside 5 minutes to go in this first quarter, and that man, Jared Richardson, making some history, 6th all-time in terms of receiving for Penn. And that is a list that's Justin Watson, some really, really good players on that all-time career list. He's in good company.
Yeah, I mean, it's, becoming wide receiver U here at the University of Pennsylvania.
Look out here, a chance for Shannon to return, a flag down. But Tristan Shannon showing why he's been so dangerous as a returner. We'll see about these flags.
I spent a lot of time on kickoff return, Joe, in my career. And I'll tell you, you get a great run like that. And there is nothing worse than seeing that yellow flag out of the corner of your eye. You know, just because it's, Joe, it's all those hidden yards in a game that add up, either going backwards or going forward. And, I think that's where these two teams are going to differentiate themselves tonight, because they both have really, really good attacks in their special teams game with their returners.
Well, talking to both of these coaches earlier this week, they both emphasized how good their special teams have been and how essential that's been to their success. New quarterback into the game is Patrick Grusser, who flipped it out to the far side. Grusser, the other freshman quarterback, Syracuse transfer, who threw his first college touchdown in the tough loss to Butler.
Yeah, it's like just changed the Dartmouth uniforms to red, with dual quarterback threats that they always like to do coming in here to Franklin Field.
Sonny Menino, who's the everyday starter, is available, we're told tonight, but likely to see a combination of Odell and Grusser.
One of the hardest things, Joe, for a line, not just we were talking about where the quarterback is, especially a younger quarterback in the pocket, it's snap count. I know that sounds subtle and small, but it's really tough to get used to a different snap count.
Handoff to Ja'Kion Cox.
Every quarterback has a little bit of a different cadence, and obviously why they call it the cadence, because it's just, that rhythm that you get into. And, I'm anxious and eager to see how the Marist team handles this, multiple quarterback look with, maybe jumping off sides every once in a while or getting a late start.
How long does it take to get used to a cadence like that or a snap change?
It takes like a training camp. It takes like a good couple weeks of your quarterback, especially have new ones, to really get used to because you need an advantage you can get against some of these defensive linemen.
3rd and 3. Grusser flushed, escapes. Look out, here comes John Lista for the sack. 15 total tackles against Dartmouth, and the leader of this Penn defense continues to set the tone for the Quakers. Get out.
Yeah, Joe, there's the sacks we were talking about. More hidden yards, right? I mean, I know they end up in the stat sheet somewhere, but you kind of dig for them. But, Lista was just relentless there.
Ethan Yuska on to punt. Incredible story. Originally committed to the University of West Florida to punt. He committed on a Sunday night. The next day, he was in the hospital with a leukemia diagnosis. Missed the next 4 years of football before joining Marist last year. And as you can see, he can really boom it.
Man, that's an inspirational story right there.
Perfect punt for Yuska.
Wish that young man well.
We'll step aside for a breather. Did a good job keeping it away from Julian Stokes. Dangerous returner, has to wait till next time. John Lista in the defense. Big time response for Penn. Four-point lead for Penn in the first meeting between the Quakers and Red Foxes with Joe Valerio. Joe Torti here with you. Pitch out to the left side, Julius Stokes. Check that, Julian Stokes, rather, with the nice pick up there on first down. And, you haven't seen him be a 20-carry guy. Might not see it a whole lot this year, but in terms of yards per carry, he's been a monster.
Yeah, Joe. I mean, that's what you want as an offensive lineman. You really want those yards per carry up there, because you win first down, you win second down. It's pretty easy to win third down.
2 minutes to play in the first quarter. O'Brien hands off to Stokes, and you could just see that foot in the ground. I want to know how fast that man goes 0 to 60.
Yeah, it's like a Ferrari. I mean, and that just – there's nothing as a lineman like seeing that blue jersey go by you, and you're like, yes. And then you can really finish your block. Watch these guys finish their blocks. They feel the weakness of the D lineman, and they finish because the defensive lineman eventually has to try to make a play. And once they do that, we call that as a line coach feeling the weakness.
First down and 10, play action. O'Brien, great protection into double coverage, and a diving pass breakup by Terrell Powell. Powell led Marist last year with 6 pass breakups as a true freshman. Really good performance there.
Yeah, it looked like he only had 3 real choices there. He went through his progression and tried to squeeze that one in there. But I'll tell you, this Penn offense right now, Joe, is looking methodical. That's the word that's coming to my mind right now, is that New England Patriots, Tom Brady, methodical.
That's a rare miss there for O'Brien. You can see his completion percentage near 70%. O'Brien keeps and is swallowed up. Garrett Carter making the stop. Landmark Conference Defensive Player of the Year last year at Susquehanna. Now here at Marist making a big play. And this is the first kind of adversity that this Penn offense has faced.
Yeah, I think what we're going to probably see here, Joe, is something mid-range. I think if Greg Kamara can get his receiver somewhere around the 40-yard line and see if they can get that extra couple of yards after catch, or go for it on 4th and 2. I don't think he's going to try to go for it all right here. I think he's going to try to just take a nice chunk out of this.
O'Brien, play action. Good protection again, has time. Looks, fires over the middle to Haight. First down yardage for Penn. Unbelievable. How long can you be asked to cover Alex Haight getting free in the middle of the defense?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's exactly what Greg Kamara was looking for. See, 3-man rush, Joe, I'll tell you, it really does give the offense an advantage from a protection perspective. Obviously, that allows guys in coverage, especially on 3rd and long. But, man, he had all the time in the world.
Big delivery by Liam O'Brien to Alex Haight. 10 seconds to play in the first quarter. Let's see if they run one more play. O'Brien to the air. Richardson on the screen. Gets outside. Lowers the shoulder, and a nice pickup there on first down by Jared Richardson as he continues to climb up the Penn receiving charts. 1 quarter in the books. Penn with a 7-3 lead over Marist. First time these two teams are meeting. Marist looking to pick up their first win against an Ivy League team. Penn trying to make sure that doesn't happen. And Quakers looking to increase their 4-point lead over Marist as the second quarter begins, and they've been doing that a lot through the air, Joe Valerio. You take a look at both of these teams, not really having the ground game to lean on. This has been a passing season so far.
Yeah, definitely. And, don't get scared by those numbers of the almost 1,000 yards by Marist. They played a few more games than Penn. So take a look at the yards per game. And you were talking about Jared Richardson, Joe, and why he was maybe seemingly ineffective last week. Penn threw to 9 different receivers last week against Dartmouth.
A lot of people getting into the act as Julian Stokes surges ahead on second down. And Stokes has already kind of set the tone on the ground, as has O'Brien. And you know that Penn would love to be a little bit more balanced and not ask so much of O'Brien to throw it all the time.
Mm-hmm. You hope that over the course of a long season that Julian can stay healthy, right? Getting a lot of carries. I mean, I love seeing him next to the lineman because he really can hide behind some of those guys in these zone schemes, which makes it a little harder for the defense to even see where he's going. Kind of like that Jahmyr Gibbs from Detroit Lions.
3rd down and 3. Here comes the heat. Handoff. Stokes fighting forward. It's going to be close. Depends on the spot. Marist was ready that time. Nate Furrow surging up from the middle of that defense. Looks like it's going to be 4th down.
Well, we know Mike Willis from Marist would go for it.
Looks like Ray Priori for Penn is as well. Take a look here. Stokes got close to picking this up after he was hit almost immediately.
Yeah, and you were talking about that earlier, Joe, off air. We were talking about how when you do rush 3 guys, sometimes you bring a 4th, and that time they did, and it paid off.
Completely flat front here for Marist. Defensive coordinator Mike Horan, the D-line coach at Harvard for years. As Stokes gets hit and turns sideways, second effort, Piles pushed. I don't think he got there.
Yeah, they tried the tackle or tight end trap there with the tight end in motion to come in and sort of cut the defense and create a lane for Julian Stokes, and they just collapsed it, saw the trap coming, beat the blocks they needed to beat, and were able to make that first hit.
James Cratcheville surging ahead, the FCS freshman All-America last year, and getting a big stop for Marist. His Penn was kind of in that middle territory. Do you go for it, do you not? And it's hard to blame Penn for thinking, hey, we haven't really been stopped or slowed down yet. Might as well give it a shot. But Marist now with the momentum.
Yeah, and you think that's probably a go-to play for Greg Camara, right? That sort of tight end trap, cut the defense, short yard. They probably weren't expecting it. They were probably expecting something a little more straight ahead.
Will Odell with an empty backfield. Looking, floating, has a man, and threw his hands, incomplete. Man, Reed Schumpert that close to reining in a long one, but it'll just be 2nd down and 10.
When you don't play a lot of games under the lights, Joe, you kind of have to practice under the lights. It does take a little bit of getting used to. We'll see right here if maybe that ball hung up in the lights a little bit, got him turned around, and it's hard to see that ball coming through the stands and in from the lights. And Coach Purry was talking about that this week with us, about how they were trying to get more night practices, getting ready for these 2 night games this year.
Handoff straight up the gut. Shannon getting the carry, and just a 1-yard pickup there on 2nd down. That brings up a 3rd down and long. How do you approach this if you're Marist kind of deep in your own territory?
Well, that Penn's probably going to give you a little bit of space, and that's Bob Benson's kind of MO, is to create that umbrella coverage and to make you win the play, make you win the pass, make a good read, try to bring some pressure. I would look for Ryan O'Connell here, number 7, to either be spying the quarterback and try to bring some pressure on a delayed blitz to sort of freak that freshman out a little bit.
Third down and 8.
And there he goes.
Yep, absolutely. Odell to the air and overthrows Schumpert, but a flag down. And we'll see about this.
So you can see Ryan O'Connell coming, bringing some more pressure, trying to flush that freshman quarterback out of there. He threw a little bit of a floater.
Looks as though this might be going against Penn.
To see that one on the replay, Joe, whether he kind of gave him a little bit of a shove as he was making a break.
Called against Alec Wills. Wills had the interception against Dartmouth last week. It sets up Marist to the 1st down and 10. They convert on the 3rd and long thanks to the penalty.
Puts a lot of pressure on the secondary when you bring so many guys, as you know, because you lose your umbrella coverage.
So now Odell with a fresh set of downs. Hands off to Shannon, reverses course, and was able to break 1 tackle, but had to do all of that fighting for 1 yard.
Yeah, we know that Penn's defensive line is a little banged up. No Paul Jennings tonight.
And offensively for Marist, Jackson Connors McCarthy, one of their biggest weapons, not available. Lincoln Cardillo, who's been a key part of their backfield, has missed several games now in a row.
Now this is the time in the season, especially for Marist, who's played a few more games, where you start to have that attrition.
2nd down and 9. Inside 12 minutes to play in the half. Marist scored first with their field goal. Rolling, Odell. He can do it with his feet. And he tucked and got what he could. Get the feeling that this is a big part of the game plan for Marist. A couple of reads for Odell before taking off.
Yeah, well, it gives the quarterback confidence, right, that they have choices. You get them outside the pocket. You don't have the constraints of the tackles coming around you. Get out on space and see if you can make something happen.
3rd and 2. Shannon gets the carry. Nice cut by Shannon to pick up the 1st down. Looked like he was hemmed in, but made a quick cut to the inside, and Shannon keeps Marist moving.
Yeah, he really planted that foot and made a nice move. I think what everybody was trying to do was keep him contained on the inside. You can see right here, Lista tried to keep him inside, hoping that the rest of the pursuit was coming, and it just wasn't there. It wasn't coming. The pursuit wasn't coming fast enough. That's what you always expect. When you're the outside guy and you're the outside leverage person, you want to force everything back in the middle of the field and hope your buddies are coming.
First down and 10. Odell. Flag down. Looks like this is going to go against Marist.
I know from chatting with a lot of defensive coordinators, Joe, over the years, that how frustrated they get when they bring the heat like that, and it's like everybody jumps offside, and now all of a sudden you've seen their blitz, and you don't get the element of surprise at that point. You know, Bob Benson's probably like, oh man, did they really have to jump offside? We had like 7 guys coming.
Instead, it's a wide receiver, Ciolino, who's called for that. Odell steps up. Turns on the jets, and Odell able to dive ahead and pick up all of that yardage and then some.
Joe, I don't mean to talk about the old eras, but watch the mobility of this quarterback right here. Look at how he can find that open space. Joe, 20 years ago, that play's not happening. That quarterback's going to probably get sacked if he doesn't get rid of that ball within 3 to 4 seconds. The game has completely changed. You have to do these like mush rushes now as a defensive line, or you have to spy with a linebacker.
As a lineman, an offensive lineman, better or worse?
Oh, much better. Much better, because, you know, if you miss a block, and, you know, it used to be it was the lookout block when the defensive lineman got past you. Right. You'd be like, look out, throw it. Now, when that happens, you know, quarterback runs up past you, like, whew, actually looked like a design play, even though I whiffed on my defensive lineman.
No one will ever know,
yeah.
Joe. First down and 10 after the Shumpert catch, moves the sticks. And this is the best-looking drive since the opening drive of the game for Marist.
Yeah, I mean, 20 years ago, you had to build a wall. Like, you know, you think about the Dan Marinos, the Dan Foutses, the John Elways, Joe Montana. Like, nowadays, you know, these guys are running all over the place.
Odell flips it. Might be backwards. Penn jumps on it. And we'll see about this. Initial read is that it's a fumble recovered by Penn. Cole Olston diving on top of it. From where we're sitting, we didn't have an awesome angle. We're kind of offset. That looked backwards. I think they'll take a look at it.
They probably will take a look at it. Look backwards to me, Joe. You know, just by where his hand was when he tried to make that one-handed catch.
We'll find out when we return. As it is, Penn football. You be the judge. One more look. After the briefest of reviews, it's confirmed that it's Penn football, and Marist's promising drive undone. Liam O'Brien and the Penn offense taking the field with Joe Valerio and Corey Nido on the sidelines. Joe Torti here with you. Penn won the toss, opted to defer. Important drive here. Whipping the ball to Richardson. Richardson lowers the stiff arm, but is dragged down by the same arm. A little bit of jiu-jitsu happening at the 47-yard line.
I mean, Coach Priori always talks about it. Every time we mention it, win on first down and you win the game. You know, if you can set yourself up for 3rd and shorts, the whole playbook is open for you, Joe.
Being shadowed by Nate Robinson Jr., who chased him all the way over to this side of the field now where he's lined up. 4-yard pickup, 2nd down and 6. Handoff to Pup Williams, getting his first tote of the game. Williams picks up a yard there, brings up a 3rd down and 5. Williams was essential in the win against Dartmouth. Several big carries, especially at the end of the game, Joe, when they were in the 4-minute drill.
Yeah, super versatile player and really gives Julian Stokes the rest he needs so that he can continue to contribute on special teams. If he's going to continue to lead in all-purpose yards, he's going to have to get some rests on regular down and distance.
3rd down and 5 near midfield. O'Brien once again gets great protection. All day to throw. Looking, floating, and a big combat catch made by Ellis once again. Ellis turning into a security blanket on third down, and Penn set up at the 30.
Incredible patience by Liam O'Brien right there, just making things happen, waiting for things to happen, and finding his open receivers. I mean, incredible protection, three-man front.
Another diamond look here as the receivers are bunched up. You see another look at that Ellis grab. And now we'll see how Marist defends this formation.
Not a lot of guys in the box, Joe. They're all out on the diamond.
Yeah, it didn't help. Went all the way over to Richardson on the other side.
I mean, that's an incredible way to set up a one-on-one for Jared Richardson, right? That's exactly what you want. You get all kinds of a route tree you could run there. Back shoulder throws. You could run a skinny post. You could run a wheel route up to the pylon in the end zone. I mean, he had a whole bevy of things he could have done right there, one-on-one.
2nd down and 2 after the 8-yard pickup by Richardson. Richardson does have the touchdown reception from this exact spot, 21 yards out. O'Brien looking his way again. Richardson, incomplete. Great coverage on the outside. And that's a new cover guy in Rashay Smith.
You could almost feel like Greg Kamara was going to try to do that one-on-one matchup again and see if he could get Jared Richardson either a back shoulder throw like that. I mean, even an underthrown ball to a receiver as talented and as big as he is could turn out to be a great throw.
Gave him a good chance there. Dante West is the tailback. BZ Owens moving in motion. Looks like he might have a one-on-one as well. O'Brien. Zone read. Keeps it himself. Nobody home!
Wow.
Looky what I found. Liam O'Brien into the end zone, untouched.
The RPO, Joe, is an absolute setup. I mean, you know, you got to be patient when you run the RPO and just wait and wait and wait for that keep, right? Instead of giving it, you keep it when you see that kind of opening. And watch Liam O'Brien just waltz into the end zone here.
Really good ball handling by O'Brien as well. Kept it in there for as long as he could. And you can see, not until he's in the back of the end zone, not a single Red Fox in the frame. Kick from Walters is up, and it is good. Penn with a 14-3 lead over Marist. 14 unanswered points from the Quakers. Liam O'Brien getting it done on the ground. This is just the latest episode of the Liam O'Brien Show. See what he's done tonight. And he's already got 2 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns last week against Dartmouth, and his really hot streak continues, and we'd expect nothing less.
Talk about a dual threat, Joe. I mean, just he's showing that he can make the right passes at the right time. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes. He's a good game manager, but man, he can run too. I mean, that's defensive coordinators are going to have fits this year trying to contain him.
Josh Barnavon all set to boot this one away. Gives the all clear both ways. You can see, based on that kickoff, Penn is very focused on minimizing the impact that special teams is going to make in Marist's favor here. Players got tangled up. Looks like no flags on the field. It'll just be Marist's offense out on the field after the touchback.
Yeah, there's no sense giving them more than they need, right? Let's just get the ball out there. Let your defense do their thing. Don't let them get any momentum with a nice return, which we know that Marist has a fantastic kickoff return team and some great returners. So you definitely want to try to limit that if you're trying to keep the momentum going your way.
Will O'Dell leads Marist out onto the field. They were marching on their last drive before a backwards pass resulted in a fumble recovered by Cole Olston of Penn. 1st and 10 from the 25. And not a whole lot there on the first down carry. Sion Cox getting that carry once again.
Yeah, with some of the injuries they have in the backfield, they're trying to spread the ball around and see if they can make something happen, rotating some guys in, get some fresh legs in, see if they can find some of these holes that the line is trying to make with this defensive front of Penn.
5:15 left here in the half. 2nd down and 10. Odell with an empty backfield. Pocket collapsing, gets it away anyway. DeCaro makes the catch. Olston's able to drop him there after a pickup of 4.
Yeah, I think defensive coordinator Bob Benson from Penn was giving Marist a little bit right there. Let him make that short catch. He knows he has cornerbacks and linebackers that have good closing speed. That's the key to being a sort of a bend, don't break type of defense, Joe. If you're going to play that kind of soft coverage, got to make sure you have guys who know how to tackle and have good closing speed.
Third down and 5. Odell flushed again, escapes again. Nice move from Odell, but he gets spun down a yard short of the first down. Looked like he might have been able to stretch out, but I'm just impressed he wasn't dropped at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, they were in a man lockdown coverage right there, and I mean, they had man all across the board, brought some extra guys, and he just kind of found that open spot there with the breakdown in the rush, which you never would ever say that in the past, a breakdown in the rush. Like, you have to think about how you're rushing the quarterback now, and you're not just pinning your ears back and going after him. You have to actually think about, am I staying contained? Am I staying disciplined in my pass rush?
4th down and 1.
Oh.
And Grusser's snap is stopped by a flag. We'll see about this.
Well, why they're talking about it, Joe, you know, this is a coach's worst nightmare who likes to go for it on 4th down. If the penalty is actually on Marist, if there was some kind of movement, it's like, man, we're that aggressive 4th down team. We can't have this happen.
Called on the tight end Brody Eaton, local product of Malvern, PA. And now take a look here at the flinch.
Two guys moving at the snap of the ball.
So now Ethan Yuska.
I'm sorry, Joe. It looked like they were going to run one of those tight end traps that Penn tried earlier.
Yeah, everything was pretty condensed there. 4th and 6. Yuska's punt bounces at the 35, takes a big Marist hop. And once again, keeping Stokes out of the return game. It's set up at the 25-yard line. And that's where Penn's offense takes the field. Trying to put points on the board in the last 2:57 until halftime. Penn already with a double-digit lead over Marist. .257 to go until halftime. 14-3 lead for Penn over Marist. Taking a look at this Penn offense, who's really found their footing here. Looking to build on that before halftime. They'll also have the option to receive after halftime. O'Brien scampers away again. Flushed and just throws it away incomplete.
It's a sign of a veteran right there. Just, you know, get the ball out of bounds. You know you don't have anything. They did a good job of containing him, spreading him out, making him run parallel to the line, and then you just throw it away and just roll up and do it again. Don't try to force it in.
Living to fight another day. 2nd down and 10. With Joe Valerio and Corey Nido on the sidelines, I'm Joe Torti. Thanks for joining us here on this Friday night. Be the first of 2 Friday night games for Penn. They'll also play Halloween night against Brown right here at Franklin Field on ESPNU.
Yeah, wear your costumes.
Absolutely. What are you going as?
I don't know what I'll be this year, Joe. Maybe an insurance broker. Oh, that's what I do by day. Sorry.
Alex Haight putting on the superhero cape because he went flying through the air to make that catch. And how good has Haight looked tonight?
He really is. He's really using his speed, not only vertically, but I like what they're doing with him horizontally with his speed. It's really opening up the defense.
1st down and 10 as Haight using that speed to get loose, and O'Brien stands and delivers. O'Brien rolling out on first down, has it all, looking for it. Richardson behind the D, makes the catch. Richardson climbs the ladder to make that grab, and Penn set up in the red zone.
What Liam was able to do on that, Joe, is he was able to get the whole defense flowing that way. And when you have a good enough arm to throw a ball like that, it's incredible what can happen across the field.
2-minute timeout. Jared Richardson saying they're too small. Nah, it's not that they're small, man. You're huge. O'Brien puts it in the air. Richardson skies to come down with it.
Buddy Cop movie, you know, just two guys you just keep seeing out there making it happen with each other. And, you know, this is his night tonight, Joe. You mentioned it early on in the broadcast that it could have been his night because he needed to make a big one after last week against Dartmouth being relatively ineffective.
O'Brien going the other way. 1-on-3. We'll see what happens here. O'Brien gets turned sideways, and that was great coverage by Marist. Sniffing that out and running him out of bounds was Wayne Adair, the defensive back.
Yeah, Marist just seemed to line up in the right formation for that play. I mean, sometimes, you know, the chess match that goes on between coordinators, they just had all the right guys in the right spot for that particular play, and, you know, Liam got what he could out of it.
Lost a yard there, and the clock stops as well as we're inside 2 minutes. Both teams with all 3 timeouts. O'Brien keeps, flips, complete. Richardson picking his way through traffic as well. Stopped a yard short of the first down. Adair making the stop again.
Yeah, that was a classic horizontal stretch play where you have guys all along the line, same distance from the quarterback, just positioned at different spots along the field, and you're stretching the accordion across the field as opposed to vertically.
So now 3rd down and 2. Stokes is the back. O'Brien keeps, looks, end zone, broken up, incomplete. Was looking for Ronan Johansson.
Yeah. Going down the path that they did against Dartmouth last week where they were just, you know, picking their shots against a bunch of receivers for Penn. They had, like I mentioned earlier, they had 9 different pass catchers in that game against Dartmouth.
Lining up to go here. 4th down and 2 from the 7-yard line. Donnelly comes in motion. No flag down. Looked like it might be a free play. Thrown up, and it's broken up, incomplete. No flags on the field. O'Brien saying that should have been free, but there you go. We talked about this a couple weeks ago, Joe, where how do you know if it's free? That time it wasn't.
You have to kind of take a guess as a quarterback. You know, you're thinking about so many things. I'm always surprised at when they can actually see it. Because, you know, you're trying to look at your coverage, you're trying to look at your routes, and then there it was.
And Richardson saying that he got bumped on the way as well. Either way, a good defensive stand from Marist to keep Penn out of the end zone. And now they're sending their offense out onto the field from their own 13-yard line.
One thing I saw on that play, Joe, is, you know, I think what happens with a quarterback and a receiver when the magic is there, you just like, oh, that's my guy tonight. We got the battery going. Julian Stokes was actually wide open right
for
there.
A first down.
For if he just would have gunned it in there, we know that Stokes, he can catch that ball, and he fires that ball in there, and they get the first down. But, you know, you get caught up in the whole magic of your battery.
Now a flag down. There have been a lot of pre-snap issues so far in this game.
Illegal snap.
So what's an illegal snap in this case?
I bet maybe everybody else moved, but he didn't. I don't know. It's like I have no idea. Maybe he moved the ball a little bit ahead before he fired it back there.
The old double snap.
Yeah. He slid it a little bit.
Penn's got 3 timeouts. How aggressive are they with them? We'll find out. Handoff here to Shannon, who goes nowhere. Maybe a pickup of 1. Timeout called by Penn immediately. They're going to try to get this ball back. And for nothing else, try to get Juice Stokes a return. Hasn't gotten to return one yet.
Yeah, I think John Audino, the special teams coordinator and running backs coach for Marist, was actually he was the quarterbacks coach when I was here back in the 90s. And, great to see Coach Audino tonight. He actually let me go out and long snap to the punters tonight. So I got to pre-game. I got to go out and snap to his punters a little bit.
Well, you still got it, I bet.
I still fired it back there, 15 yards. I don't have the speed I used to, but I had the accuracy in the spiral. But you never kind of lose. It's like riding a bike, Joe. You don't really lose that. But again, my comment about Coach Audino, he's a smart coach, been a head coach in the league, been around a long time, and he just knows not to get it to Julian Stokes.
2nd down and 12. Ball spotted at the 5. Another handoff here. Shannon dances to the outside. And another very short pickup there for Shannon. And Penn's defense very, very quick to swarm to that ball. 2nd timeout called by Penn.
Not that anybody cares about my opinion, Joe, but
I do.
I'm a big believer in giving your offense as much time as possible, even if they don't have any timeouts. That's just a philosophy that I really buy into and believe in, that I'd much rather, as an offensive coordinator, have more time with less timeouts so that I can use the sideline, use the markers as you're moving the sticks to stop the clock, rather than, getting the ball with a little bit of time and a lot of timeouts. That's just my personal opinion if I were calling an offense. And I think that's what Coach Priori's kind of buying into right now for offensive coordinator Greg Camara.
Yeah, certainly has burned 2 and preserved a ton of time, especially given how far back Marist is backed up. Handoff right up the gut again. O'Connell makes the stop behind the line of scrimmage and an immediate timeout. So 5 seconds go off the clock there. And now Penn out of timeouts, but with 52 seconds, and the punt team presumably coming out for Marist.
It'll be interesting to see if special teams coach John Audino keeps it away from Juice Stokes. He's been able to do it all night, but sometimes your luck runs out, and the punter hits off wrong part of his foot, and maybe Julian Stokes gets a return here.
Ethan Yuska has a booming leg, so we have seen. The only thing I can think of is that perhaps it's been a little bit intentional that he's hitting it a little bit shorter and having it roll back to Stokes as opposed to letting Stokes catch it with a head of steam so far.
Yeah, and he's also, I think he's been trying to move him around back there rather than kicking it high and deep to him. He's trying to move it around a little bit, make him catch the ball on a bounce.
See if Stokes gets the chance to return. He's standing near midfield here. Yuska from his own end zone. This one bounces in front of Stokes. Takes a big Marist hop once again. Oh, man, look at that beauty. All the way down to the Penn 31. Really, really strong punt from Yuska.
Really was. He put it right where he needed to put it to keep Julian Stokes from getting his hands on it. Interesting rule, Joe, that a lot of people know, but if that ball would have hit a Marist player and everybody knew that it hit a Marist player and Juice Stokes touched that ball and grabbed it and tried to run with it, even if he fumbled it, Penn would still get the ball. So it's a very unique rule that if you see it hit a cover person, go for it, pick it up, and try to run it. Even if you fumble it, you would still keep the ball as a return team.
61-yard punt is a new season long for Yuska. Flags are down.
Went on the clap.
Joey Paterno called for that one. Different spelling, no relation.
Great sell by Will Bergen. I guess Academy Award there for the I just got hit.
So free 5 there, but Penn still with a lot of field to cover here. O'Brien deep over the middle to BZ Owens, who makes the first catch of the night for him. And Owens gets decapitated at the 35-yard line, so he'll have to come off the field, but the first catch for Owens is a big one.
Yeah, fantastic way to find that soft spot in the zone. He spun around so many times here. I think that's what made his helmet fall off. Watch him spin. One spin here, one spin here. Boop. Boop.
Well, we only saw Liam O'Brien's helmet come off, I think, 4 times against Dartmouth on Saturday.
Something amiss with the chin straps.
Marist calling timeout here. BZ Owens making the good catch there, and now the Red Foxes taking the time to take a look at this.
It's going to be a tough call on the targeting. I mean, I'll just throw my opinion out there because he was spinning into it. You know.
Oh, you think they're looking at that as well?
I don't. I mean, they could have been, but I don't know if they would have really seen that as targeting because of the spin. You know, and playing defense is really hard these days.
Yeah.
When is somebody defenseless? When are they? You know, when is it targeting? I mean, you have
when
to be
when is a quarterback sliding or going out of bounds versus getting ready to truck you?
You got to be a heck of an athlete to play defense these days, and they don't tackle a lot in practice anymore.
Right.
Actually, they don't go live much anymore during the week. So tackling's become quite an art.
First down and 10 for Penn, already leading 14-3, but with the big catch by Owens, Penn looking for more.
Oop.
There's false starts everywhere. 2 different players. Davis Ellis called there.
Sometimes you fake yourself out, Joe. You know, just as a team, you get so hyped up and ready to go. You want to get those really hard snap counts, make the defense on edge, and then you make yourself jump.
Yeah, it looked like Ronan Johansson jumped as well. First down and 15. .27 seconds left in the half.
It's the most guys I've seen lined up on the Marist defensive front in the entire game.
Flag is down, and it results in a sack. Liam O'Brien gets dropped. We'll see about this flag, but Cade Werner, who had 14 tackles against USD, got there to him.
Personal foul, face mask, offense, 67, 15-yard penalty on the previous spot, first down.
Called against Max Freeman, the right guard.
Looked like he tried everything he could to get his hand out of there.
Does anything change now if you're Penn?
Well, with 22 seconds left, they're going to, obviously, this far back now, they're going to have to use the boundary to stop the clock. It's going to be pretty darn hard to get that first down and move the sticks to stop that clock. So they're going to have to use the boundary, and they may just do something safe here. Maybe they do a high percentage throw and try to get some yards after a catch, see if they can chew away a little bit of this.
2 timeouts still for Marist, none for Penn. Officials whistling to stop play before it begins. Alexander Randolph is the referee today.
What the Penn receivers needed to do on that sack was, you know, and the face mask calls, they needed to get separation. They were in a lockdown man coverage, and there was no separation. They were just running with them.
Ball respotted at the 45-yard line to Richardson on the outside, who fights his way out of bounds. Richardson back on the Marist side of the field. 9 seconds left. Take me through these next 2 plays here, Joe.
Yeah, I mean, they'll have to use the boundary, Joe. I don't think Marist is in such a umbrella coverage here with these guys deep that they're not going to be able to move the sticks there. They're going to have to get out of bounds.
Richardson comes to get it on a screen. 3 seconds left. That's going to do it. Richardson makes the catch, but the drive sputters out at the 41-yard line. And that's how this half wraps up. Penn with a 14-3 lead over Marist. And both of these teams, I think, Joe, would tell you that they expected to have more at the end of this half.
Yeah, I mean, they both had a lot of momentum going early, Joe, and I'm surprised we don't see more points on the board considering what we saw in the first quarter.
Well, maybe the man on the field can get some answers. Corey Nido is standing by with Penn coach Ray Priori.
Joe, thanks. Coach, your offense was able to move that ball rather well, specifically through the air in the first half. What worked so well on that side of the football?
We had plenty of time to throw the ball. There were three-man rushing, so Liam had plenty of time to find the open receiver. Some of those plays were just really more on his feet and just people just extending the play.
Defensively, Cole Olsen playing through that whistle, picks up that backwards pass. How pivotal is a play like that for your team?
Sure, turnovers make the difference in the game. If you get more turnovers than them, by and large, you're going to win the game.
Any adjustments needed in the second half?
A lot. We got to come back with more fire.
Coach, thanks.
Thank you.
Joe, back to you. I'm sorry, we're going to stay here, actually, and we're going to have a special guest join us here in just a moment. It is going to be a former Penn Quaker and current starting offensive lineman for the New York Giants, and is going to be Greg Van Roten as Greg comes on over, and he's going to join us here for a minute. Greg, thanks so much for joining us. How great is it for you to be back at Franklin Field to support the Quakers?
It's awesome. I don't get to come back very often, but when I do, it's always special to kind of see, where I started and how far I've come.
What does this program, this university mean to you?
I mean, it gave me the opportunity to get an unbelievable education and then continue my dream of playing football, and I've been able to do that for a long time right now in the NFL, and it all started back here.
Mentioned a long time in the NFL, a bit of a journey. Can you take us through it a little bit? Undrafted free agent, bouncing around 4 or 5 teams, now with the Giants a little bit closer to home too.
Yeah, so I was undrafted 2012, started in Green Bay, was there for 2 years, went up to Canada, played in Toronto for 2 years, 3 years in Carolina, 2 years with the Jets, Bills, Raiders, now my second year with the Giants.
What's it like playing with the Giants? I know it's a tough subject in these parts of the country right now. You guys took it to the defending champions last night. What was that win like, and what was that performance for you, and how important was that for your guys?
It was a great team win against a really good football team, and I think it just showed like what we're capable of when we play complementary football. Like, it sounds cliche, but like when our offense plays well and our defense plays well and our special teams plays well, like we can hang with anybody and we can beat anybody.
You represent the Ivy League, obviously academic heavy, but there's really good talent that comes out of this league. What's it mean for you to kind of wear that as a badge of honor, where there's not a whole lot of Ivy League performers and players out there, but you're one of them and you could rep this league?
Yeah, I think it's just important to show kids like you can do both. Like, you can come to an Ivy League school, get an unbelievable education, and still play at the highest level in the NFL. I never wanted to be like an example. That was never my goal. But if I can show guys like, hey, there is a path here if you want to choose it, like I've walked it and it's possible.
Able to be here on the sideline. Penn's offense looked pretty good. Yeah. A little aggressive on some 4th down plays. Didn't go their way, but your overall take on the first half from the guys?
They look good. Hopefully just keep it up in the second half, make some adjustments at halftime, and come away with a win. That's all that really matters.
Now, we got word your wife went to Marist.
She did.
You're a Quaker.
Yeah.
Any friendly wagers? Any trash talking here?
I was trying to get a bet going, but she was afraid of the point spread was too large. So she's a smart girl.
Last thing here for you. What's your message to those out there? There's high school recruits that come to these games. What's the message on why you should become a Penn Quaker?
It's just a great place to grow up, basically, and some of my more formative years were at Penn, and some of my lifelong friendships started here. It's always great to come back to campus and kind of take that walk down memory lane, and it's an unbelievable university, and it speaks for itself, really.
Well, Greg, thanks so much for stopping by. Enjoy the second half, and we'll see if the Quakers pull this one out.
Appreciate it. Good to see you.
That's Greg Van Roten, the starting right guard for the New York Giants. They're looking to turn their season around. They picked up a huge win against the Eagles last night. We'll be back with more Penn football right here on ESPN+.
And we're out.
Take a look at these first half highlights as Penn got started here. These highlights brought to you by IBX with a pass to Jared Richardson from 21 yards out. And it looked like the route was on, but not so much, Joe.
Yeah, Joe. I mean, we lost a lot of momentum in the second quarter that both teams had going in the first quarter, and you saw that play by Liam O'Brien there with the scoot into the end zone all alone. You saw him pull up and throw that great ball to Jared Richardson. I mean, Liam O'Brien is doing it tonight with his feet and his arm. This is a great stop and throw, great catch in traffic. I mean, these two are magic tonight.
BZ Owens not often being called upon, but certainly a big-time catch there. Take a look at these first half stats, also brought to you by IBX. Penn getting it done through the air, 214 yards in the first half. But once again, you would expect with the stats looking like that, especially with the turnover battle, that it would be way more lopsided. As Ray Priori said going into the locker room, a lot of things to clean up.
Yeah, it just happens to be that Penn's sort of stalling a little bit in the red zone. If they could have converted some of those drives down the field and stayed away from some of the penalties and the missed fourth down attempt. I mean, it could be a totally different game for Penn. I just think Marist needs to get more momentum going from that first drive that they had and just needs to start maybe do a little bit more ball control. They're not that far behind, Joe, so I don't think they need to panic. I think they can continue to run the ball with these young quarterbacks, give them some confidence, throw some high percentage throws.
So Penn on pace to get to that 30 that they've been averaging, tied for second in the Ivy League offensively in points per game with Princeton. Liam O'Brien has continued his hot streak. What has made him so effective for Penn?
I think he's able now to see the field, right? He's growing into this offense. He has the confidence that if things start to break down and they get in some kind of man-to-man coverage and everybody goes deep, he'll see that open space and he'll take it. And I think that just gives him the confidence and the open field to make things happen and to stretch the defense both horizontally and vertically.
Across the way, it's Will O'Dell who's gotten the vast majority of the snaps so far. How do you grade what he's done?
I think for a true freshman, I think he's doing really well. He's not making big mistakes. He's using his legs to get some first downs and pick up some yards when the pocket breaks down. We know Marist is not the best pass protecting team. They're averaging a bunch of sacks a game. So I think he's doing a really good job of managing this game and keeping them in it right now.
14-3, Penn with the lead, and they'll have the option to return. They will. Jared Richardson has certainly been a big-time player for them on the offensive side. Special teams-wise, the story all season long has been Julian Stokes. Thus far, Marist has been able to keep him off.
Yeah, special teams coach John Audino has a history at Penn. He probably knows Ray Priori better than any coach on the other sideline, and he's thinking, all right, I know how I'm going to beat Coach Priori with this. I'm going to keep it away from Julian Stokes.
Stokes will have a chance to return this one. One hop in front of him. And now Stokes spins over the 35, still on his feet, and finally dropped at the 38-yard line. And you can see how good Stokes is. And you can see now with that return, Stokes pulls into second place all time, passing Mark Fabish, class of 96, in terms of all-purpose yards, or kick return yards rather, and he is certainly within striking distance of Chris Wynn at the top of the list as well.
Coach Fabish, Mark Fabish went on to a long, storied coaching history in the Ivy League, so good company.
Also gets a handoff on first down, and Stokes, look at the second effort by Julian Stokes.
Man, Joe, I'd be exhausted after a kickoff return like that. Not that I've ever – well, I did actually have 2 kickoff returns in my NFL career.
55 yards, 65 yards?
2 returns for 15 yards.
Oh, there you go.
So kicked it right at me. I caught it, and I had to look over at Coach Schottenheimer, and he said, run. I was like, oh, okay.
Tell Dante Hall you're right on his heels in terms of return yardage
Exactly.
with the Chiefs.
And only 204 touchdowns short of Jerry Rice, so I was ready to go.
Firing to BZ Owens. Made the catch right at the sticks. Think he lost yardage as he was trying to regather. It'll bring up a third down and short.
Yeah, really making use of juice in that series with the kick return and then that run. I mean, as I was saying, you got to be exhausted after doing that. And impressed that he could get a run right after that kickoff return.
Another diamond formation here for O'Brien. Looking, rolling, and sliding right at the sticks. Think he gave himself up short, maybe, depending on where the spot is. Officials, the linesmen will say move the chains. That'll be a first down for Penn. Pickup of 1 by Liam O'Brien. That's all he got.
Yeah, I'm surprised they don't have more markers on the field, with all these quarterbacks that are running, and they need to know where the line of scrimmage is now because of all the RPO stuff. I think it would help if they had markers on both sides of the field to sort of aid the offense, because you always have to look over to the visitor sideline.
As it is, though, a fresh set of downs for O'Brien and Penn. Hand off to Stokes, and Stokes pushes ahead into Marist territory at the 49-yard line. 3-yard pickup on first down brings up a 2nd and 7.
Yeah. When I was coaching high school football, Joe, I did it for 11 years, and we were an option team, and you always wonder, why didn't the quarterback just keep it right there? Because he would have gotten so many yards. You forget that the defense actually does dive in on when they do see the ball get handed off.
Big pump fake from O'Brien. Delivering up top for Ellis, and incomplete. Looked like it went over the other shoulder that Ellis was expecting. He also was looking for a flag. Said it'll be 3rd down and 7.
Yeah, Joe, even though that play didn't result in anything at that particular, time, what it does, it just stretches offense out. It becomes like your defense becomes like silly putty. You're just stretching them all over the field, and then you can start to make things happen. I call that more of a setup play than almost like an execution play.
See what they execute on 3rd down and 7 from the Marist 49. O'Brien, heat coming, gets it away, complete to Owens, who moves the sticks. Man, tough play by O'Brien. Knew he had to stand and deliver. The heat was on, and Owens is able to pick up the first down.
Yeah, Greg Kamara is making great use of all of his receivers. Tonight, he did it against Dartmouth. I mean, they're just Liam O'Brien's just picking his battles at this point, picking his spots.
First down and 10 from the 37-yard line. Penn looking to go up 3 scores against Marist. Stokes still on his feet. Flag down in the backfield, but as it is, Stokes scampers in for a 37-yard touchdown. But let's see about this flag back at the 36. Wipes out an explosive play by Julian Stokes. And holding is the call. Take a look.
Oh, right there. Gave him that tug. It's okay, Joe. It's okay when your hands are inside the frame to grab some cloth. And, we're always taught that as a line coach. But you got to let go. When that guy starts to pull away and, the ball's going past, it's so instinctual to keep holding him. You got to let go. And that was a pretty obvious one there.
Sets up a first down and 19 now, wiping off the long touchdown run. Pup Williams gets the carry and runs into all kinds of traffic. Very short pickup there for Sean Williams Jr.
Kind of go back to that holding call, like Joe, because really technically, there's holding on every play. Like, guys are always grabbing. It's the extra stretch of the jersey. It's the hook around the arm that gets called.
So as a result, then, as an offensive lineman, should we get away with that penalty entirely? Just do away with it?
Well, if you're getting a home field call, maybe, but, on a Friday night. But, no, it was a pretty obvious one.
2nd and 18. O'Brien over the middle. Owens hangs on and makes the catch and sets up a 3rd and 1. Man, BZ Owens' degree of difficulty on these catches extremely high.
Yeah, I don't think Liam could have thrown this ball any better. You might think, I wish he would have led him a little bit more. I think if he leads him anymore, that ball's either picked or he's taken a huge hit. So, man, that ball was actually thrown really well. The fact that it was thrown behind him a little bit, and he trusts these receivers that they're going to catch it.
3rd and 1 from the 28. Option pitched out to Williams. Looking for the edge. Williams has the first down. And Penn's drive continues in Marist territory. Good decision by Liam O'Brien on the pitch.
Yeah, might be the first speed option I've seen out of Penn so far in the games that we've done.
We've talked about it at some length now, Joe. This is just such a multiple variable Penn offense, but also a lot of the traditional stuff is not really in there. You don't see a ton of the traditional just handed off running game. You've seen a lot of that.
Yeah, they're not like a real true zone, inside zone, outside zone team. They run a lot of, here you go. There's a classic example right there of 2 double guard pull, bring kind of like a student body right, and, let the big guys get out in front and find a little hole behind them.
And it's your quarterback taking it,
yeah.
Liam O'Brien. Nate Furrow making the stop there. Marist had Penn in trouble spots a couple of different times on this drive. But Penn's drive continues here. Julian Stokes' touchdown wiped off the field, or off the scoreboard, I should say. 2nd down and 6. O'Brien, play action. Looking over the middle, through the hands of Richardson and nearly intercepted by Lamont Narcisse, but it's just an incomplete pass, 3rd and 6.
Joe, if you're a Penn fan, you might get disappointed by the fact that play got called. I think this is a good sign for this team that they overcame that penalty. They, as Coach Priori talks about this Penn team all the time, they're very poised, they're very disciplined. So now it's just, just methodically get back to what you're doing. So not a bad thing, considering they do have the momentum and the lead for them to overcome a penalty or a penalty like that and a called back touchdown.
3rd down and 6, handoff. Williams gets the seal around the outside. Flag is down, and Williams knocked down beyond the sticks, but this one might be coming back as well.
Yeah.
Luke Sacchetti called for that one.
Yeah, Penn came into this game, one of the top-rated non-penaltied teams in NCAA FCS, and they're not really showing that tonight. Things seem to be getting away from a little bit with some of the motion stuff and the holding calls, and you gotta continue to be disciplined if you want to win football games. Ray Priori talked about it with Corey. Turnovers are the name of the game, but penalties can do the same thing as turnovers.
Now 3rd and 16. Richardson in the slot. O'Brien floats it complete, and West not able to hold on. It's knocked out of his hands right at the 1st down marker. Dante West nearly was able to convert there on 3rd and long, but out comes the field goal unit.
We talked about this, Joe, right? Let's take a look here at how he was not able to hold on to that ball. He had it right there. He just brought it down a little too low. Got to bring that ball down fast, get it tucked away quick.
So now Mason Walters on for the 47-yarder. The freshman puts it in the air. Does it have the leg? No good for Mason Walter. 8:43 left in the 3rd. Marist's offense will take the field, still trailing 14-13. A chance to get closer when we come back. .8:43 left in the 3rd quarter. 1st down and 10 from Marist. Take a look at the Ivy League standings driven by Academy Bus. Harvard off to a very strong start, and then it's a huge pile up right behind them.
Yeah, Joe, I'm surprised Harvard right now is leading Cornell 17-0, about 9 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. They are 34.5-point favorites over Cornell. I thought that game would be a little bit more in Harvard's favor in that tilt.
Crimson have been absolutely on the warpath. Jaden Craig and company just humming offensively. And also Brown leading Bryant 15-12 elsewhere in the Ivy League. With Joe Valerio and Corey Naito on the sidelines, Joe Torti here with you. This one feels like it should be a wider deficit. What's gone wrong for Penn?
I mean, to put it in a nutshell, Joe, stalling in the red zone for the Quakers. I think that's really their issue. Marist just doesn't have the same momentum they had on the first drive, trying to figure things out. But for Penn, it's really just been about stalling in the red zone. Pretty simple.
Trying to get things rolling here. Cox with the carry, trying to keep it alive, but just nowhere to go against this Penn defense. Nobody fully healthy this time of year in college football, but Penn's defense pretty close, especially in the middle. The two players combining John Lista and Kadari Machin to make that stop.
Yeah, and the addition of Ryan O'Connell, you know, with the spy, with some of the blitz package they have with him, and he's been pretty effective out there and kind of disrupting things, especially on the delayed blitzes that he's been running.
3rd down and 6. O'Connell's out there now. Olston gets upended. Over the middle, the tight end catches it. Holstein able to move the ball into Penn territory. His man fell down, and he found himself wide open.
Yeah, I mean, just ran John Lista off on a man coverage there, and, you know, Lista did everything he could to keep up with them, and you could see right there Lista fell down. They did great pressure, really good composure.
Looking up the sidelines, and it is broken up, incomplete, and Drayton putting his hands up as a flag flew. Looks like this one actually might be going the other way. Jack Mallory was tied up with him.
You know, see a little push off here, right there. Try to get a little advantage, pushing him away from the ball, and kind of slowed him down to catch the ball. It was really, I mean, if you're out playing in the street and you're not going to call interference, if you're like playing street football, you know, like go down to the Volkswagen and make a left type football, that's actually a really good play by the receiver. It's just in college football you can't do that.
Seeing as that is what we're playing tonight, 1st down and 25 now for Marist. Odell, quarterback draw. Pursued from behind. And he got a couple yards there, not a ton. Rasheed Hall making the stop there for the Quakers.
Yeah, you're okay with giving a little on that when it's, you know, when you're faced with that kind of down and distance. It's okay to give up a little bit. You just don't want to give up the big play.
2nd down now and 20 after the 5-yard pickup by Odell. Sonny Menino, the starting quarterback for Marist, has not been seen yet today. We're told he's available, but it's been Odell and Grusser, Patrick Grusser, the other freshman. Odell gets good protection this time, floats it over the head of his intended target. Incomplete. Reed Schumpert was in the area. And that's been something that's happened a couple times when those two have tried to hook up. Just a little too high for Schumpert.
Yeah, that should have been just a quick, you know, I love a good crossing pattern. I think I like when offenses can stretch a team across the field. I think football has become such a game of the deep ball and, you know, seeing if you can get the big play. I mean, I'm such a big fan of a 5 to 6 or 7 yard over route that, you know, especially when you're in man-to-man and you can, you know, lead a guy, and he just hasn't been able to do that tonight.
3rd down now and 20 for Marist. Odell steps up, scrambling. Here comes O'Connell, delivers the hit. Mallory makes the catch, still on his feet, and finally dropped at the 39-yard line. Jack Mallory, you saw action as a true freshman last year at 22 catches. 2nd target on this one, but 4th down upcoming.
Super impressed with Ryan O'Connell's closing speed as a delayed blitzer. He gets after it. He picks his spot when he sees the quarterback is kind of standing back there ready to launch the ball, and he gets going. I think that's been something Bob Benson seems to be really working on, is that delayed blitz with Ryan O'Connell.
Senior from Fairfield, Connecticut, now staring down a 4th down and 7 is Marist. Odell looking to the sticks, throws it low, incomplete. Drayton on the coverage, and that one just thrown out of bounds. Looked like Schumpert was the intended target on that play. Penn's offense takes the field when we return, leading 14-3, but they're looking for more. It's been quiet since the 1st quarter. .508 left in the 3rd, 14-3. Penn with the lead over Marist. You take a look at their remaining schedule, all conference games. This is a team that's already beaten the preseason favorite in the Pioneer Football League. I have a feeling this is a team that's not going to finish 9th where they were picked in the preseason. This is a team that's hanging with some good squads.
Oh, definitely, especially with the injuries they have going, Joe. And their schedule is really wild. They are all over the United States. I mean, this team, they make a move during the season.
O'Brien, after the turnover on 4th down, has tons of time, steps up, delivers low, and incomplete. He's looking for the tight end, Michael Hegarty, and that one came in low.
Looked like he was trying to do a Patrick Mahomes imitation there, as, throwing parallel to the ground as he was going down. But you have to be careful on those throws. It's you throw into traffic like that, you want to make that smart play as a quarterback.
2nd down and 10. Stokes with the handoff. Now a flag is coming in.
I think it's a face mask, Joe.
It looked like it from where we were, but I thought somebody in the backfield would have thrown that. The linesman had a good look.
Yeah, he definitely had a good look. I mean, we saw it up here. We're right on the sideline.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, number 94, 15-yard penalty, added to the end of the play, automatic, first down.
Yeah, Joe, just from our broadcast location, we kind of had a perfect window through the bodies to see it.
Same as the linesman.
Step aside for a breather. There's a player down for Marist. Give you more details when we come back. Penn up by 11. Take a look at what's on the menu for the Penn Quakers in the upcoming weeks here. They have that nationally televised game that we talked about on Halloween, but before that it's 2 games on the road at Columbia and at Yale. By the time they're back here against Brown, they're going to have a pretty good idea of where they sit in the Ivy League with plenty of games to play.
Yeah, and it's been really interesting seeing some teams on the schedule that they really haven't had any experience with in Stonehill and Marist. I think it's great that they're expanding out, trying out some different teams and getting some different competition.
They're catching them on the upswing. Stonehill and Marist both ascending programs. 4:42 left here in the third. O'Brien, here comes the blitz. He escapes and throws it away. Now, what's it mean for an offense when you've got somebody like O'Brien? I know that's an incomplete pass, but that should have been an absolutely dead-to-rights play.
Yeah, I mean, if you had a statuesque quarterback back there that wasn't mobile, that's one of those blindside hits that you would have seen on inside the NFL back, from the 1980s. But, they're able to see. It's almost like he had eyes in the back of his head, and, you're very thankful you have a mobile quarterback who can get out of that.
Jordan Mendoza, by the way, was the injured Marist Red Fox. He was able to get off the field. 2nd down and 10. Around the edge for Stokes. Stokes gets wrapped up and dropped. Beautiful one-on-one tackle. Wayne Adair able to close in and take Juice down one-on-one. Not an easy feat.
Yeah, you have to go low on him. He's so low to the ground and so compact and powerful. If you don't grab those ankles and roll like that, you're probably not tackling him that well.
3rd down and 11. This is a Marist defense that can really slam the door. They held San Diego to 1 yard in the second quarter, 31 in the third quarter. So certainly a team that can clamp down. That seems to be what they're doing against Penn in some big spots here.
Yeah, they're forcing them to make errors in the red zone.
O'Brien, great pocket, steps up, hit, wrapped up, and dropped after a 3-yard pickup. And now they're at the 40-yard line. Flag is down as well on the other side of the field. Jared Richardson looking for an explanation on that one. It's thrown at the 21. See what the officials have to say.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, offense, number 17, that's his first of the game, 15-yard penalty, the play count, 4th down.
So now instead of taking a look from the 40-yard line, because that's probably go for it territory, punt team kind of comes out now. Tough one for Jared Richardson.
Yeah, I think, you just don't want Penn to lose that, first several games of the season disciplined approach that they had to limiting penalties and creating opportunities for yourself. And, you do so much more, Joe, as a player when you're out on the field away from the ball sometimes than you do getting the ball or getting a target or making a run.
Santiago Sterla's punt will have to wait. Another flag is down here.
Flag down, no play. Offside. 1-yard penalty, 4th down.
That might be the earliest I've ever seen an offside flag happen on a punt situation, Joe.
That was, I mean, he was definitely, he had a clear line to the punter if he wanted to block it if it got off.
Rashay Smith back to return. On 4th and 21, Sterla, the lefty, puts it high into the air. Backspinning punt. Flag is down. It slams on the brakes, and it's going the wrong way for Penn. Now we'll see about the flag as well.
It was a nice try, trying to tap that back into Marist territory.
This is going to go against Marist. So it's at the 26.
Something happened with the Flyers there. Maybe a hold, maybe grab a tug of jersey.
During the kick, holding, receiving team, 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick. 1st down, Marist.
So there you go. Marist will be set up now instead at their 16-yard line.
Blocking those Flyers, as they're called, you know, who are the ones that line out on the perimeter to go cover a punt. It's kind of like covering somebody one-on-one on a jet route, you know, where they're just zooming down the field, and sometimes you just get tempted to grab their jersey and keep them from, you know, trying to take out your kick returner or punt returner. So it's a kind of almost like a defensive move to protect your player.
So Marist taking the field. They've got a lot of field to work with here, but a touchdown and a 2-point conversion, all of a sudden you're down 3. So Marist still very much in this game. Odell pulls it out, looking up the sideline, floats it, and throws it away. Flag is down now. Looks like there might have been late contact with the quarterback as well. We'll see about this.
Personal foul. Roughing up for the pass. Defense, number 93. 15-yard penalty. Automatic. 1st down.
Rashad Hall called for that one. And as you point out, Joe, now the 7th penalty called on Penn. It's not like Marist is playing a clean game either. They've got 11 tacked onto them, but this is not what you're used to from Penn this season.
Yeah, they were, you know, coming into this game, I think ranked 15th in the nation in penalties called on them. And, you know, as Coach Brewery says, he said on the way out of the field, I said this before, turnovers can change a game, but, you know, penalties can too. They keep drives alive for other teams, and they stall your own drives.
Odell has his pass batted, and it falls to the turf, incomplete. That was dangerous for Marist. Talked about the hidden yardage, Joe. 11 penalties for 96 yards, 7 for 82 yards. Take another look at the Connor Janke swat down there. Carter Janke, rather.
Really heads-up play by number 78, the left tackle for Marist. If he didn't do that extra push on Carter Janke, that ball's picked off.
Janke playing that nose tackle role, getting his hands up. 2nd down and 10. Odell fakes the pass outside, goes airborne, and gets knocked down at the 39-yard line right at the sticks. Odell's been impressive as a ball carrier. We've been talking about Liam O'Brien and his ability with his legs, but Odell, a different kind of runner for Marist.
Yeah, Penn made it easy for him there. They ran an X stunt over on the left side, and the tackle didn't get back out to have contain while the end went inside.
Odell surges ahead for the 1st down.
Number 18, Will Odell, carries for the Marist. 1st down. 1st and 10 for the Marist.
Taking a look at the quarterbacks. Sonny Menino, the leading rusher on this team at 6'5", 245. Then you're thinking, okay, well, that's the big running quarterback. Will Odell right behind him, 6'4", 230.
Yeah. Those would have been linemen when I was playing here at Penn. They would have been all lining up next to each other as guards and tackles.
1:33 left in the 3rd quarter. 1st down and 10 for Marist. Looking for their first win over an Ivy League team. Hand off to Shannon, who hasn't been able to get a whole lot going. That's his best run of the day, 5 yards.
you know, the thing you want to do as an offensive line in these types of games, if you're hanging in close, you want to keep wearing the defensive line down, keep wearing them down, stay after them. And I could see why they would want to run the ball here a little bit and not try to get all, 11 of these points back fast. Just, chop away, because eventually you're going to wear the other defense down. Because playing defense, Joe, is literally the hardest thing. Playing defensive line in these situations is the hardest thing to do in football.
2nd down and 5. Odell calls a man in motion. Play action. Steps up. Hit as he throws on target to Holstein. And now a flag down on the backside. As it is, Holstein has enough yardage for a first down. We'll see about the flag.
Ineligible player downfield. Offense, number 63. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
It seems like we talk about it every week, Joe, how easy it is to catch yourself downfield when you think your quarterback's taking off.
Yeah, it's one of the hardest things that offensive linemen have had to develop is that sense of where the line of scrimmage is. In the old days, you knew exactly what you were doing in pass. You just set your pass steps back 1-2 yards. You built a wall around the quarterback. You threw the ball, and you moved on. Nowadays, with these athletic quarterbacks, you don't know where they are. You want to go down and make a downfield block to protect your quarterback, and next thing you know, he throws the ball.
Odell looking up the sidelines, and it's incomplete. Looking once again for Schumpert. Looked like he got his head around, but the ball just wasn't there. 3rd down and 10.
Seemed like that was almost like an intended short throw. And it kind of like a timing pattern where run him off. You watch him right here. He's going to run him off and just launch it up there and hope he can come back and make that play.
Third down and 10. "14 seconds left in the third. Odell back to the air. Schumpert makes the catch. Drayton shoves him out of bounds after a pickup of 6. And now that'll bring up a 4th down and 4. Go time here for Marist.
It looks like it's Coach Mike Willis is going for his bread and butter of being one of the top 4th down teams in the country.
He'll have time to think about it. We're heading to the 4th quarter. 14-3. Penn keeping Marist at bay. Red Foxes, a skulk of them on the move. Tight game in this one. Julian Stokes has been a difference maker all season for Penn. We talked about him moving up into 2nd place all time in career all-purpose yards. 60 tonight.
Says a lot about a player's athletic ability that you can do it with 11 guys running at you full speed down the field as a returner, and then also be able to turn it into a running back role as well. Says a lot about his athleticism.
Odell over the middle on 4th down, and it is incomplete. Marist drew up their best play there for that one, and it really, Joe, looked like it was well covered by Penn.
Yeah, they had pretty good blanket coverage on that. I think they saw it all the way. I mean, obviously they weren't going to run the ball at that point. So Coach Bob Benson was able to get them in a pretty solid defense to cover that pass.
1st down and 10 from the 46-yard line of Marist. Penn hasn't scored a point since the 2nd quarter. Marist hasn't scored since the 1st quarter. Marist used to this. This is kind of what their game looked like against San Diego. This is unusual territory for Penn, averaging 30 points per game. 2nd in the Ivy League. Richardson makes the catch and delivers a stiff arm at the end of that play as well. Pickup of 9 on 1st down.
Well, Joe, it's all about hidden yards, right? I mean, if you pick up the stat sheet here, right, going into the 4th quarter, you look at this game and you say, wow, it's got to be a higher scoring game than this based on the yardage. But it's about stalling in the red zone and giving up that hidden yardage.
More of it coming.
False start. Offense, number 74. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
False start called against Natinho Oliveri, left tackle for Penn. Been a very, very strong player for them on the blind side.
Yeah, he is solid.
Richardson 10 catches, 120 yards, and the score. 2nd down and 6. O'Brien looking his way again. Richardson stays on his feet. Inside the 30-yard line, Richardson dumped at the 28.
Great quick throw, great timing. I mean, you can almost feel and sense that those two have run that play a lot just by the way that ball came out of Liam's hands and the way that Jared Richardson was waiting for it.
Fresh set of downs for Penn. O'Brien looking. Owens off his hands and incomplete. Tight coverage by Narcisse. Rice transfer made it difficult for Owens.
You can almost see BC Owens. I know he's a basketball player, and you can almost see his basketball prowess right there, like he's going up for like a dunk or something, right? He just has that look about him when he's going for a ball that's out of his sort of range and the way that he reaches for them. You can see his basketball skills coming out.
It's paid off well for Penn as he's been able to come down with a ton of acrobatic catches. Handoff, Williams. Nice pick up there on 2nd down to make it 3rd and manageable.
Great lead block by the pulling guard on that play to just get up there and plow ahead and just let the running back get behind him and just chew that yardage up.
3rd down and 5 for Penn. Where do you go here if you're the Quakers?
Yeah, I think they're probably going to use the wide side of the field here, maybe get Liam to roll out a little bit, come off of this motion.
Instead, they hand off around the edge to Williams, who gets the seal. And Williams down near the 10-yard line. Pup Williams with an explosive carry.
Great misdirection. You know, I mean, listen, I mean, I thought they were going to try to use the wide side of the field. You could tell by the motion, the way that Liam was coming out of his stance there when he received the shotgun snap. And then, man, just to put that redirection in there is a great call by Greg Kamara to throw Marist off. I think they were thinking, just like I was, I think they were thinking that ball was heading out to their left.
Now 1st down and goal from the 10-yard line. O'Brien dangerous on the ground. Keeps it, flips it, through the hands of his intended target, and incomplete. That was Michael Hegarty, the tight end. Now another flag here. Officials indicating it's going against Penn.
It's hard. Well, let the referee make the call here, but it's hard when the guy is that close to you and you have such a good arm, you just fire it at him.
Pass interference. Offense. Number 4. 15-yard penalty. Repeat 1st down.
Caden Olson called on that one. And that stings. 15 yards. You're backed up to 1st down and goal from the 25.
Here we go. Red zone stall again, Joe. I mean, this is what Penn's been the dagger that Marist has been throwing at them tonight.
They've been really good this season, 85% in the red zone. Richardson makes that catch and moves it back to the original line of scrimmage. But very uncharacteristic night. Is it something about Friday nights, Joe?
I don't know. We know Coach Purrier told us midweek about, the preparation they were going to do. They were going to try to change things up and change their timing around a little bit, get the kids on a normal schedule, and do some things that maybe would break that mojo of what it is that's been haunting them as a Friday night team that hasn't really had a lot of success.
The last beat Harvard at home here on a Friday night in 2016. O'Brien looking end zone. Richardson on the slant. That's too easy. Touchdown Penn. Jared Richardson's 2nd of the night. And the Quakers finally back on the scoreboard.
Yeah, Liam O'Brien was just not having it on that play. I think they just went to good old bread and butter. And you got one of the best receivers in the league, one of the best receivers in FCS. Just let him do his thing, make that cut. It took exactly what Marist gave him right there.
Walters on for the point after try. Kick is up, and it is good. Penn now 21-3 in front of Marist. Quakers finish off a strong drive. Liam O'Brien to Jared Richardson. Stop if you've heard that one already. Even on a Friday night, still have to keep some traditions alive, like the toast toss here to kick off the fourth quarter. And to their credit, the Penn Quakers paying off this great tradition with a touchdown drive, Joe Valerio.
Yeah, and for our Marist listeners who, since we're the first time we're playing Penn, what that is, it's part of the song. It's a college fight song that Penn has where they say, "Here is a toast to dear old Penn," as in a cocktail or a drink, but we turned it into a toast throw. So for those who may not be familiar with the toast tradition, somebody made it to the hash tonight, Joe, which was, we got to find, maybe somebody needs a backup quarterback.
I think that's about a world record here. And now the carry on the return. Look out here. We talked about special teams for Marist being a big factor here. And that was Irane Gabonziza, who is the Villanova transfer, who comes all the way out. And that's maybe the jolt that Marist needed.
Yeah, that's a credit to Coach John Audino, the special teams coach that has a Penn history. They've been fantastic, as good as Julian Stokes has been on kickoffs as well, but also on punt returns. Marist has been that good on kickoff returns. So hidden yardage, Joe, hidden yardage.
Take a look at how special the special teams have been for both of these squads, and both coaches put an emphasis on it, saying this is kind of one of the areas that we put equal importance on to offense and defense. Odell gets away. Look at that Houdini act from Odell. The true freshman scrambles ahead for 12 yards. Looked like he was going to go down for a loss.
I mean, it just looks like it looks like he's a guy who's been playing his whole life. I mean, at quarterback at a major college football program. I mean, he has really got a lot of composure for a true freshman.
Josh Narcisse is the player who is down for Penn. Starting safety for the Quakers. We talked about it, nobody's healthy, but in particular on defense, you look at Penn, and defensive line has always been such a strength of this team, right? But Brady Ioannidis has not been available. You learn that Paul Jennings not going to be available. All of a sudden, the depth players that allow you to be so good all game long are playing those increased snaps. And Penn, you wouldn't call them thin on defense. There's still plenty of talent out there, but injuries starting to mount here for them.
Yeah, Joe, and if there's any position on a football field that rotates more than any other, it's defensive line. I've said it a lot, during our broadcast, that playing defensive line is one of the toughest things to do play after play. So you have to have depth. You have to be able to rotate players in, and they all have to be relatively equal. You have to have guys that are, like on the offensive line, you can get away with having 5 really, really good players because you don't ever rotate. But yeah, it's definitely, it'll be an effect towards the end of the season as they start to wear down a little bit.
So Brock Cornell, number 22, is in at safety, a freshman, so keep an eye on him. Odell, back to pass, looking up the sideline the other way, breaking on the ball, and nearly taking it away was Wills, but a flag is down, and it's going to go against Penn.
Incomplete, flag on the play.
Defense, number 6.
Pretty solid
15-yard
protection.
penalty. Automatic. First down.
Wills almost came away with that. Thought he had an interception. Instead, pass interference is the call. 11:09 to go in this fourth quarter. Marist looking to avoid dropping to 0-10 all time against Ivy League programs. First time these two have met. Penn's kept them at arm's length. Odell delivering complete. Schumpert makes the catch. Wrapped up and dropped by Ezra Fearon, who had the pick against Dartmouth last week that he tipped up to himself.
I almost wonder sometimes, Joe, why they don't run that play every single time.
Sure.
Until they stop it. It's so counterintuitive for, I think, offensive coordinators to just keep running something until somebody stops it, and then you go somewhere else. But, man, those quick slants can be devastating if you run them right.
See if they go back to it. Odell, another backwards pass. A flag is down. Halfback pass, wide open in the end zone, and a huge collision, but a catch made. Wow. Touchdown, Marist. Santino Correa makes the catch on the touchdown toss from Jeremy DeCaro, but we'll see about the flag.
He was probably
Offside. Defense. Number 9. The penalty is declined. Results of the play.
It took so long to develop, and he was wide open. It looked like he must have read every letter on that ball as it was coming down, as he's got two giant guys flying at him.
Scores the touchdown for Marist.
You talk about a combat catch. Santino Correa making it on the delivery from DeCaro.
Two-point conversion.
It hurts a lot less when you catch it, Joe.
I believe you pop back up.
It hurts a lot less when you catch it.
Correa, the Delaware transfer, second year in the program, and now 2-point opportunity upcoming for Odell and Marist. Back to pass, looking, high delivery on the slant, and it is broken up incomplete. No flags on the field, so it remains 21-9. Tight coverage on that play by Penn. But Marist gets into the end zone, a 29-yard touchdown for Correa from DeCaro. Kickoff upcoming. Take a look at our IBEW Local Union 98 Electric play of the game. Jared Richardson keeping the lights on with this catch way down the field, goes upstairs. No ladder necessary to change that light bulb.
Great plant by Liam O'Brien right there, just putting his back foot in the ground and letting that thing, heaving that thing up there and letting it go.
Richardson has had an absolutely monster game for Penn. 13 catches, 159 yards, and 2 scores. But Marist has scored most recently on a double pass play. Jeremy DeCaro delivering deep downfield to Santino Correa. And now Stokes comes up, muffs the kickoff return. And you don't see that every day from Stokes. He's dropped at the 20-yard line, about a 3-yard return after maybe that one got caught in the lights. You've been talking about that all night, Joe.
Yeah, they made him work for that one. They're definitely not kicking it right to him for sure. And then he took his eyes off it for just a second. Because, you know, when you catch a ball like that, Joe, and not like in a traditional manner where the kicker just kicks it right to you, you know, your first thing is, where are the players? Where are those white and red, you know, those red pants and those white jerseys? And you look up for just a second, and that ball's shaped funny, and it falls right out of your hands.
As it is first down and 10 for Penn from their 20. This is about the worst field position they've had all night. O'Brien looking, has Richardson again, sliding catch made at the 40-yard line. And Jared Richardson continues to be Mr. Reliable, 14th catch of the day. And he's almost at 200 yards receiving.
Well, Joe, because I am a card-carrying member of the Fools, the Fraternal Order of Offensive Linemen, I do have to give a lot of credit to Penn's offensive line tonight. They are giving these guys plenty of time to make those connections.
That's certainly been the case. O'Brien has had tons of time to throw. Dante West into the secondary. And West goes all the way into Marist territory at the 41-yard line. Good to see on that carry from Dante West.
What was interesting about that one, Joe, is he ran into the back of one of his big offensive linemen, and I think Marist lost where he was. And as they were, you know, looking for him, literally looking for him coming out of the backfield, they couldn't see him, and then he just popped out of there. So, you know, sometimes running into one of your guys is actually a pretty good thing.
Who knew?
Might be a new play.
First down and 10 for Penn. Ball at the 41 of Marist. Play action. O'Brien flushed right. Scramble drill is on. And that one's a throwaway, incomplete. Second down and 10 upcoming. Good pressure on the play from Nate Furrow of Marist.
Yeah, he was the player that we obviously profiled at the beginning of the game, and some of our highlights as kind of a sack machine there, closed out their last win for them.
5 tackles for loss in total last week in the win against San Diego, who was receiving votes. Penn beating Dartmouth, who was also receiving votes. Short week to think about your success, though. Here we are on Friday night. 9:06 left in the fourth. O'Brien back to the air. Richardson dropped it. Don't see it every day. Incomplete.
It's just like a golf swing, Joe. You know, you take your eye off the ball, you look up a little bit too much, and that's what happens catching a ball, too. You just, all it takes is one quick aversion of your eyes, and you're thinking about that guy that's closing ground on you and taking a hit, and the ball just falls right out of your hands.
Joe, I wish that was all that was wrong with my golf swing. 3rd down and 10. Got a lot bigger problems than that, I think. Might have just as much success closing my eyes.
It's been my golf game lately, too, Joe.
O'Brien with 4 receivers. Good pocket, finds Richardson, but skipped it in, or did he? Marist saying it's incomplete, but the ref saying that Richardson did secure that somehow right at the sticks and move the chains. Let's get another look here.
The previous play of the completed pass is under further review.
You know what? He did catch it. That was a trick of the light.
Yeah, I think he got his hands under it and was able to fall on it. And
I saw what Marist was talking about. Looking at it live, it looked like it might have skipped a yard short of Richardson, like not even close. But on second look, that was a good call by the officials.
You get some of those shadows, right? Look at like the 9 shadows that are around his body right now. That looks like a catch to me, Joe.
Oh, he caught it right on the point.
And I think he got his forearms underneath as well.
Really good catch by Richardson.
Keeping it off the ground.
So 8:38 left here. Looks like it's going to be a first down for Penn at the 30-yard line, leading 21-9. All 3 timeouts for both teams. If you're Penn, I know that the game in general hasn't gone the way that you hoped it would, especially offensively. Hard to complain when you're holding the team to 9 points, but what would cashing in here with a touchdown mean to the team?
I think it would give them the confidence that they can do things in the second half after making adjustments at halftime, and not let the penalties and some of that, sort of let those momentum killers keep you from scoring a lot of points. This game easily for Penn, I believe, Joe, they could be in the 35-point range right now if they just, hadn't had some of the air quote stalls that they had down in the red zone. But, as Coach Priori has always said, this is a team made up of poise, made up of discipline, and, guys have a lot of chemistry playing together. So I'm sure he'll be happy with that.
And new for this year, just in case you were wondering about the verbiage, there is no confirmed or stands anymore. It's just whether a play is upheld or not. No, clear definitive evidence or anything like that. It's just, will the play be as it was called or not? O'Brien on first down, play action. Hit and dropped for a sack. Nate Furrow picks up the sack from his linebacker spot and knocks them back for a loss of 10.
Just found that open spot in the coverage. They blitzed enough guys to absorb the running back who was in protection as well. They slid the protection away from Furrow and opened up a nice seam for him to come through on a delayed blitz.
Now 2nd down and 20, empty backfield for O'Brien. Delivers to West in the slot, and he's going backwards as well. Marist defense swarming. First one there. Coming in from the secondary was Chase Hatton, who leads the team in tackles.
Tackled immediately by number 29, Kate Warner, and number 31, Will Howell.
Going to use that term again, Joe, hitting yardage, right? Hitting yardage on that sack, right? You make the right call at the right time. You slide to protection opposite the delayed blitz, and he gets a free shot at your quarterback, and now you're almost out, pretty much out of field goal range at this point.
3rd down and 23 after the sack and the tackle for loss. O'Brien, play action, looking to Owens, makes the catch, spins, and is knocked out of the 32-yard line. Tight coverage by Rashay Smith. And now you're at the 32-yard line. Be a long field goal here. Be looking at about a 50-yarder.
That's a boot. That's a boot.
So instead, on 4th and 12, the offense stays out. O'Brien has gone to the hard count in these spots in the past. Wonder if he'll try to do that here. Answer.
Yes.
Yes.
And he got his own guy. There's a lot of communication going on right there. I think it threw them off a little bit about what the heck was going on.
So as it is, the offense still out on the field on 4th and 17. Clock is running at 6:15 to go. They'll line up to go for it again. Timeout called by Ray Priori and Penn, first of the half.
30 seconds left.
There you go. You want to see what they lined up in if you're Ray Priori before making a decision. 21-9 lead for Penn over Marist. 6:06 left in the fourth quarter. And I'm not saying this game is over, but if you're Penn, you're looking at this another opportunity that you had to go into the red zone and do some damage, and instead you're going the wrong way. Going to be a teaching point for Ray Priori either way, whether that stings them in this game on the scoreboard or not.
And, you know, not to take anything away from Marist, but, you know, if I think back to last week, the victory over Dartmouth, and I think about if they would have fallen into this kind of mode when they were playing a team like Dartmouth that's, you know, always been, you know, the last several years been top of the Ivy League. Joe, it's a different game, you know. Not again, not to take anything away from Marist, but if they were playing against a little bit of a better team, it'd be different.
Sterla on to punt this one away. Puts a charge into it. Oh, it slammed on the brakes at the 2 and bounced out. Nicely done by Sterla to pin them inside the 20-yard line at the 10. And there you go, some special teams work from Santiago Sterla. 5:55 left in the fourth. Marist trailing 21-9. Red Foxes looking to pick up their first win against an Ivy League team, but there's work to do. .55 to go in the fourth quarter. Marist taking the field, trailing Penn 21-9 with Joe Valerio, Joe Torti here with you. Sonny Menino, the starting quarterback for Marist all season. Haven't seen him yet tonight. Will Odell, the true freshman, has been at the controls. Odell steps up, scrambling, he's hit, and a very short pickup there, if any. Actually, it'll be officially a sack for Penn. Ryan O'Connell getting that sack.
Yeah, O'Connell's been pretty much a menace out there to the opposing offenses this last couple of games.
Playing really well, the linebacker. Odell's pass, broken up, incomplete. Cole Olston in coverage. Irene Gabon-Ziza, who was the target. Now 3rd down and 11, just like that. Jared Richardson, 15 catches, 190 yards for Penn. His career high in yardage is 191. Not sure if he'll get a chance to break that. Third down and 11 here from the 9-yard line of Marist. This is a must-get if you're going to come back in this game. Odell steps up. Janke hits him, gets it away anyway, and closing in and making the stop there. Beautifully done by Kadari Machin. Shannon made the catch, nowhere to go. And out comes the punt team.
I give Will Odell a lot of credit, Joe. I mean, he's got a bright future ahead of him. He was a true freshman coming against a swarming defense like Penn, working with an offensive line that, you know, hasn't been the best at protection, letting up a lot of sacks. I mean, give that young guy a lot of credit out there.
What stands out to you about how he's played?
Nice composure. You know, he's not making mistakes. He's able to see the pocket, and he's finding receivers when he can.
Ethan Yuska gets it away off the side of his foot. This one's not his best.
Oh.
Not flipping the field on this one, and Penn's offense will have great field position to start this drive.
Yeah, when you go from having a 61-yard punt that really pins Penn back to that, you know, it's where you really understand how what a difference special teams can make in a game.
Ball's at the 25-yard line. So a 15-yard punt officially. First down and 10 for Liam O'Brien and Penn. Stokes gets the carry. Still on his feet, gets to the outside. Stokes reaching, stretching. He's short by a yard. 24-yard run for Julian Stokes.
What you saw there, Joe, is why he is such a good kick returner and a punt returner. Not that that wasn't a great from the line of scrimmage run, but his ability to change direction multiple times. One, there, like to be able to do that multiple times takes a lot of athletic ability.
Timeout called by Penn just inside 4 minutes to go in regulation. You talk about Julian Stokes, a guy who's been an elite level special teams player, was really, really good as a slot receiver.
Mm-hmm.
You know, preseason first team All-Ivy, and then all of a sudden misses a season due to injury, not going to be available, comes back. Well, a guy with explosion like that, coming back from an injury, what's he going to look like? Well, he switches positions back to running back and then looks like this. I mean, there's no questions left to ask about Juice Stokes. He's answered them all.
Yeah, I mean, and you know, when you look at a guy like Jared Richardson, his body type, what makes him a great receiver, and the way that Penn uses him in the offense. It's the same thing for a running back like Julian Stokes. He's relatively short, he's very stocky, and he's very low to the ground, and they're using his skill, and he's using his skills and his body type to really be successful, and that's what it takes.
Giving the ball back to Stokes, looking end zone, tunneling underneath, no signal yet. He'll be marked short. You have to think they're going to give him another opportunity to finish this off after the long run.
It's almost, Joe, like you to play the way that he plays, you have to be short and stocky. You have to have that low center of gravity. It's kind of like a Barry Sanders type, right? Where you, if you're 6'2", you can't make those kind of cuts. It's just physically impossible. And he's got the power to go with it.
Reminds you of a couple years back when Penn had Isaiah Malcolm on the roster as their starting tailback. Second and goal from the 1 yard line. O'Brien hands off Stokes, pushing ahead again, and this time he's in. Touchdown Quakers.
You know, as a lineman, you always actually like that. When a guy gets you down there, you want to give him that reward. You want to let him get that 6 points, you know, and the linemen actually appreciate that. You know, they appreciate seeing a guy work that hard and run that hard. You just look how happy they look for him right there.
Yeah, Luke Sacchetti, the first one to signal, hey, that's a touchdown. Yeah. Kick is up and good from Walters. And now Penn 28-9 in front of Marist. Cashing in on the 15-yard punt. And Stokes almost took it in the next play.
Luke Sacchetti was kind of like a good catcher who frames a pitch. You know, you just want to let's tell the ref that was a touchdown.
Got this one. Reminds you of the game last night. I don't know if you saw the Giants and Eagles game where Jackson Dart is very sure that his players scored a touchdown, and the referee's got his hands up, and Dart just gives him a high five. So, nah, we're celebrating, man. We got this.
That became a meme, Joe. That became a meme.
Good.
It was all over the internet.
I've heard of this internet thing. Think it'll catch on?
I think it's here to stay. The World Wide Webby thing?
Tristan Shannon back to return for Marist. We'll get another chance here. No, he won't. Upman fields it. Wrapped up and dropped. Special teams tackle made brilliantly by Penn. That was Derek McCrum coming in and making that stop.
Returner's down.
Don't like to see that. Be tended to by his team's athletic training staff. I believe that was Lucas Hunter. Tight end was the up man. Be able to tell when he gets up. Hopefully he'll be okay.
Yeah, that was the position I played on kickoff return. And back when you could do the wedge.
Ah, yes.
That was not fun. That was not fun, Joe. Because you'd have these guys that would line up next to the kicker. They were always big defensive linemen who were really fast and could run. And you got a guy 6'3", 6'4", 295 running at you at 40 yards ahead of steam, and you're just holding hands with your buddy and trying to run into that guy as hard as you can.
Wedge busters.
Whew. It was, I saw a lot of like white spots around the sides of my eyes in a lot of games running that play. Okay.
Players help
pop
up. And yes, it is Hunter who's able to walk off. Good to see, and gets the proper ovation here from this Franklin Field crowd under the Friday night lights. So Marist ball at the 24.5-yard line. Inside 3 minutes to go here in regulation. And now a quarterback change as well coming in for Marist. It's Patrick Grusser, the redshirt freshman and Syracuse transfer. Grusser looking, flipping. And it's caught by a manager on the sidelines, and the Penn sideline is fired up.
Yeah, the team was really happy about that. And he's celebrating with the ball. And
why not?
Why not? Spike it.
Brody Eaton, the Army transfer from Malvern, PA, called for holding there.
Yeah, there's that tug, right, as the guy's starting to pull away and just kind of keep holding on. It's a natural reaction because you're trying to just protect your guys, right? I mean, offensive line's the only position in all of sports, Joe, where your sole job is to protect another player.
Grusser running the draw there. How much of that is taught and how much of it is instinctual to be an offensive lineman with those tendencies to always be protecting?
Oh, I think it's kind of when from very early on when somebody gets thrust into the offensive line mode like I did when I was a little kid, and I told my dad, you know, it really stinks that I'm playing offensive line. He said, why? You have to learn to celebrate, you know, everybody else's success, and if you don't, you're going to be a failure. And I took that to heart because, you know, if you don't, and he said, if you don't have a smile on your face when you got a knee in your back and a finger in your eye and 7 guys are piled on you and 32 goes over the top and gets his name in the paper, then why are you playing? So
you're like, Dad, you're really selling this, man.
Yeah. But that was it. That was my inspiration. And I've kind of done that my whole life, Joe. I've always felt, hey, be a lineman, man. Help people score touchdowns and find success in it.
Well, that's certainly what's happened on the Penn side. We've reached the 2-minute timeout. Quakers in the driver's seat. Pretty glad to have you aboard, and thanks for joining us on what's been a pretty fun night of football. Penn defense having some fun on that play. Cox getting dumped in the backfield. Alexandro Armour Jr. making that stop.
Well, the defense has definitely put an exclamation point on this game for Penn, for the Quakers, Joe. I think, you know, like you had mentioned when we were off air, you know, the double halfback pass, I mean, Penn probably hasn't seen that on film all year, and you get it, right? And it was a great catch, and they executed it really well. But I think Coach Brewer is going to be really happy with these 9 points. I think Bob Benson's done a good job of keeping these freshman quarterbacks running around the pocket. I just think that Penn probably feels like they should have scored a few more points.
Grusser rolling out, the true freshman. And as he gets wrapped up and dropped.
Oh, taunting.
Yeah, I kind of saw that one coming. Trevor Pajak was the one who had the sack, and he's going to pick up the flag as well.
You can't look at the scoreboard.
Number 19. That's first in the game. 15-yard penalty. Correction, number 35. 15-yard penalty. Automatic. First down.
Well, Kadari Machen's break is over. He's back into the game now after this penalty.
Yeah. What you can't do, Joe, is you can't look at the scoreboard and think, oh, I'm up 28-9. I can do that, right? You just can't do that.
Penn's 12th penalty for 137 yards. You talk about that hidden yardage, there it is. If you're Marist, though, as Grusser's pass skips in and is caught, actually. Pretty good hands that time by Gabanziza, but this is a Marist team that's been way down the last several years. Mike Willis comes in, takes over, brings all of that experience, offensive prowess. I mean, he was the architect between some really, really good Princeton offenses behind it. And as Grusser is getting to the outside, flags coming in, this might be coming back. Brings in a defensive coordinator in Mike Horan, who's Harvard's defensive line coach. And he talked to us this week about changing the standard and, first of all, effectively communicating what you're looking for out of your program. That's the only way to really get those dividends to start being paid, is everybody has to know what you're expecting, what you're looking for.
Yeah, and I mean, I had a chance to catch up with John Aldino, their special teams coordinator and running backs coach, who has a history at Penn. We got a chance to catch up. He was one of my coaches when I was here, and he just said everybody is really excited about what's happening at Marist, and he's got a lot of energy. He's been a head coach. He's had a great, successful career, and he was really excited about what's going on there.
Legal block in the back. 86 offense. Personal foul. Targeting with the count. Defense, number 17. The penalty offset. The foul for targeting is under further review.
So it's Ethan Cohall who's called for the target.
Now, Joe, if does targeting affect your next game, or is it just the game that you're in?
It's two halves, right?
It's two halves,
so
right?
It'd be this half and then the following.
I hate to lose a half of football for 29 seconds, right? And
yeah, that's tough. Didn't get a good look at the play live. It was on the far side. Officials taking a closer look now. Like you said, just 29 seconds left. We'll take a look here. You know what? I think it's good that you're taking a look, but I didn't see targeting there.
Yeah, no, I like that they take that break when there's any even question, take a look at it, and I think you're right, Joe. I think he kind of had his head up and he had his face mask in his chest.
After further review, it was determined there was no target on the play. Therefore, the foul for illegal block in the back for the previous block will be enforced.
Cohall was about to run out onto the field and he got held up. He said, oh, no, hold on. So they will back Marist up for that block in the back. So Penn turns their attention to Columbia and Yale on the road before returning here home Friday night again against Brown. What does Penn need to clean up between now and the Columbia game?
I mean, the obvious answer there, Joe, is the penalties, right? The lack of discipline, whether it's jumping off sides, whether it's the tugging from the holding call, whether it's the pass interference, they've just got to play more fundamental football and get themselves the players have to get themselves into positions where they can be successful, so they don't even have to make those penalties. I think that's it for me. I think athletically, I think this team has all the skills offensively, right? With wide receivers that can do it all: speed, back shoulder throws, crossing routes, getting open. They got Liam just playing really high-level football right now as a quarterback. He's making smart decisions.
Speaking of high level, this is the best run of the evening for Marist. Kenneth Antoine, the tailback, taking it up to the 45-yard line, make it the 46. Longest run of the game for Marist. Probably going to come on the final play of the game. Final score, Penn 28 and Marist 9. Quakers pick up the win on Friday night for the first time since they beat Harvard here 2016. It's been a long time since they were able to pick up a home win under the lights.
Well, let's hope that this is one in a series of many of these two schools coming together and playing this game. Poughkeepsie, New York meets Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Seems like there's a fit, especially with all the ties between the two teams and between the coaching staffs and the league. Makes sense, and especially given that Marist has played Columbia and things like that, makes total sense.
And
go ahead.
And the fact that it's only a couple-hour drive as opposed to some of these schools where you look at Marist's schedule in the PFL and you're thinking, my goodness, these kids are on planes half the season.
San Diego, Valparaiso, et cetera, et cetera. By the way, for those who were curious last week, when I was trying to find out the identity of a baby that Ray Priori was holding at the end of the game, turns out one of his grandkids. There you go.
Pop Priori.
There he is, very proud of his team's win, I'm sure. Not necessarily all aspects of the performance. We'll, of course, be hearing from Ray Priori in a matter of moments as the final scores 28-9, Penn defeating Marist. We mentioned this is the final non-conference game for Marist as well. They're on the road taking on Morehead State before returning home against Drake.
Catching the Penn players doing their hurrah, hurrah, alma mater. Greg Van Roten over there looking big New York Giant over there. He might have a year of eligibility left.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe
it's worth checking out.
Yeah, they could, with all the new rules, Joe, maybe they could get Greg back out there to play.
Well, I don't think he ever took advantage of his pandemic season, right?
Exactly.
So there's that. Ray Priori walking over to the sidelines. Looking forward to visiting with him. And tonight's player of the game, I'm not going to spoil it. You could find out, but you could probably guess who it is as well. But first, before we talk to that mystery player, Ray Priori getting ready to join our very own Corey Nido. We'll get a... Well, check that. We will only hear from the player of the game tonight, and there he is. Oh, it's been spoiled. Jared Richardson collecting a handshake, and now the interview with Corey Nido.
Joe, thanks. Jared, a monster game for you tonight. 15 receptions, 190 yards, just one shy of matching your career high mark. What worked so well for you tonight?
Honestly, Coach Khmer, he's just putting me in a great position. He's putting his trust in me. And Liam O'Brien back there making plays. The line's doing their job blocking. Honestly, it takes all 11, and I'm just doing my job. So great to see. Great to see.
You move into 6th all-time in program history in career receiving yards. What's that mean to you?
It's special. It's a blessing, My recruiting journey, it was difficult. I only had one Division I offer coming into college, so it's honestly special. Glory to God.
You guys have a special relationship, you and quarterback Liam O'Brien. How have you been able to build that connection both on and off the field this year?
Honestly, it comes down to reps. You know, we're always around each other. We're always, you know, practicing, doing what we have to do. This past summer, I actually went out to Colorado to train with them, so that just shows you our relationship. We love each other, and that's my dog for life.
You two are spearheading a really potent passing attack. What do you think this passing offense is capable of as you guys continue to progress?
No, honestly, we're really starting our Ivy stretch. So we're gonna have to lock in. Our preparation is gonna have to be, you know, top notch. We're gonna have to make sure we're getting our keys, we're getting our reads, we're doing everything we have to do, and I believe this offense will go very far.
Jared, congrats on the win in the big game. Go enjoy it.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
That's senior wide receiver Jared Richardson as he and the Quakers start off 3-1 for the second time in the last 3 seasons. Joe, back to you.
Corey, thank you very much. Congratulations to Jared Richardson and the Penn Quakers for their 28-9 win over Marist. They will be back in action against Columbia on the road on Saturday. And, of course, you can catch that and all Ivy League games on ESPN+. For Corey Naito on the sidelines and my broadcast partner, Joe Valerio, this is Joe Torti saying so long. Enjoy your Friday night, and we'll see you next time for more Ivy League football on ESPN.